Welcome everybody to another episode of more conversations with the average black man on our new channel, a new YouTube channel called More Contentious Conversations with the Average Black Man. Oh, I'm sorry, More Conversations with the Average Black Man. And here is my co-host, my wonderful co-host, Black Man. Mike, your mic off. Turn your mic on, bro. It says muted. There you
Okay,
go.
there we go. Thank you for the good intro, good intro. And everybody, please, a warm round of applause for Miss Mary King, Miss Mary King, Miss Mary King. Yes. We've been doing this for a long time, long time, long time. Hug yourself. It's your thing to hug yourself. There you go. All right, so I'm gonna be here today. We got the banner popping. Today we gonna talk about this. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Thank you. We're gonna talk about this good feminism topic. Is it pro woman or anti man? And we're gonna go through all the waves as quickly as we can. Hopefully, we can get through it in like in 30 45 minutes. Hour tops, and then we're gonna have the callers come up. Let me take this. Let me grab this right here. And where is it? Copy. I'm gonna put this so you can share it. What's going on? There we go. So that's the show right there on YouTube. So you can share it too. And we can drop it in a few different places. And we can get started on this feminism show because my stance on this is that feminism of today, this current wave as of today, is not what feminism is at its heart and its core. Not at all. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is now, but I know what it's not. I done spent the last few weeks digging hard through all the waves. You know what I mean? Like really looking to figure out what's going on with what feminism is and
Mm-hmm.
the trials and tribulations of each individual wave and all of that jazz. And when you look at those things, and do you look at right now, that's not what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It's
So
especially going down to the the fourth wave of feminism is definitely quite different than the first, the second, and the third. So we're gonna dive real deep into these situations. We're gonna hit y'all with some facts, a couple of our opinions, but
right,
mostly the facts.
right. And that's my whole argument is that this fourth wave feminism that's rolling around now, that's the one that it appears from the outside looking in, because there's not a lot of information on it that's to be found. But from the outside looking in, that's the one that looks like it's anti-man. You know what I mean? It doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's not looking like it's about equality at all. So what we're gonna do first and foremost is what is this? I want to pull up the definition. Let's define through the dictionary what exactly is feminism. All right. So this
Mm-hmm.
Merriam-Webster's right here. This is Merriam-Webster's right here. Let me take this overlay off. It's in the way. So feminism, noun,
Mm-hmm.
politics, the belief that women should be allowed the same rights, power, and opportunities as men and be treated in the same way, or the set of activities intended to achieve this state.
Say that
Right?
one more again. One more again for the people in the back.
I said
Say it.
it says feminism is a noun,
Mm-hmm.
political, politics, the belief
Mm-hmm.
should be allowed to have the same rights, power, and opportunities as men and be treated in the same way, or the set of activities intended to achieve this. Hey, 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 everybody in the comments.
Hey everybody. I'm
Yes, yes,
I'm listening. I know on camera it looked like I'm just staring, but I'm sharing our stuff.
yes, 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 yes. Shout out to everybody in the comments. The bar reloaded and Trey Ferg. So so boom. That's the dictionary definition of feminism. I 100% don't see anything wrong with that. Not at all.
No one
Now,
does.
so let's run through these waves. First wave
Let's go.
feminism. First wave feminism. Boom. First wave feminism. We got to call a spade a spade. This is the United States, and we know the history here in the United States. During 1865, 1865 and back, Caucasian men were the only men that were allowed to vote. Only men were allowed to vote. Period. New sentence. Only men were allowed to vote. That was the rule that was established. Men could work, men could have businesses, men could have bank accounts, men could hold titles and deeds to property, so on and so forth, right? 1965 came, end of slavery, Reconstruction, 1870. 1870. Black men were given the right to vote. Black men were given the right to vote because the law said that only men could vote. Hang on, my kid is asking me a question. Hold it down for me.
All right, I got you. So where did he leave off? First wave. Well,
Okay,
I'm
I'm
gonna go
back.
to
So only
all right.
men.
I'm like,
The
I didn't
law
even get to
said,
say nothing.
yeah, that only men could vote. So 1870, black men were allowed to vote. Keep in mind, this is during the time where black people were seen as animals and all of that type of stuff. So the 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 other man's I'm trying not to get his YouTube flag, you know what I'm saying, but white men, forget it. White men were
Yeah.
allowed to
Just
vote, and when they gave black men the right to vote, white women were like,
oh my God. How
so
come we ain't get the right to vote?
how
How
could
can
you
you
give
give
those
them?
no listen, how could you give those N words the right
Yeah,
to vote before us?
yeah,
They're subhumans. How are they given rights to make decisions in this country that we built? This is them saying from car, and you know what I mean,
yeah,
before us. And that was the start of the whole women want the right to vote. That's
yeah.
his origin. It's not pretty, but that's his origin. And from that, the
Hmm.
organizations began to flourish from there with Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Loretta Mott, Sir Garner Truth, Ida B. Wells, the 18th century movements, the women's suffrage movement, and everything that they all fought for. I'm not here to dispute that. It was legit.
Hmm.
I'm not they Women were mistreated at that time in what they were asking for. And when they got those things in which they were asking for, first wave ended. Boom. Second wave, they came and they asked for a second set of stuff. Second wave feminism, 1963. Betty,
1963 to 1980s.
right, through the 1980s. You
Hmm.
said you read this book, right? The Feminine
The
Mystique.
the feminist mystique. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can touch on that because I never read the book.
Okay. I'm gonna give y'all a nice little summary of this book. This book was written in the night between 1962 and 1965, and it's basically this woman going around surveying housewives, and what she came to understand that was housewives felt as though is that they didn't feel fulfilled in doing house duties outside of work. So when women had jobs and took care of the home, they felt more fulfilled and things of that nature. She also went dive deep into the opiate epidemic and why so many women was taking drugs at that time. Like that Feminist Mystique book is it's a good read to understand. I think the second wave of feminism. It broadens the insight of how women of that time was thinking, feeling, and how they were operating. Yeah, we might not like it. We might not agree with, the majority of women feeling this way. But in this book, in her survey, because it's a survey, I mean, it's not just some shit she pulled out of her mind and what she think. It's a survey of women that she did this with. And this is what their feelings, their experiences was.
Right. And second wave women's suffrage and the second wave feminism, and they drew a lot of criticism centered around the idea of the privilege of white women. And some black women formed their own feminist organizations behind that, including the National Black Feminist Organization, NBFO. Right. And our
Right, right,
sources are the source we're pulling from is the History Channel. This is not pseudo judo. This is the history. This is what's documented via the History Channel. The
right.
historychannel.com, and you go in there and search for the feminist movement, and all this will pop right up. You know, domestication and femininity was an argument they talked about. They, like she said, during the World War, a lot of the men were drafted, and housewives went out there and start working and feeling and began to feel fulfilled, and they began to see themselves as more than just housewives. They began to have ambition and goals. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I said? Ain't nothing wrong with that. And as as it went on, it talked about sexism and how women were looked at as less than men still, and they fought for that. That's when the equality concept came in, where they said we're not less than men. We're just as important as you are.
Another premise of her book was, I had to bring that shit up, was that it was an assumption that women would be fulfilled in their housework and their marriage and sex lives um, without work. That was the premise for society at that time. Like you should be happy doing housework. You should be happy um, with your wife, with being married and children. You know,
Right.
It says
Like what?
Ferdinand also questions the women's magazine, women's education system, the advertising for creating widespread image of women, the detrimental effects, including this image was in the corner of women's domestic sphere. It led to women to lose their own identities.
Ah, right. It also says the feminine mystique underlined had not undermined the social prejudices that had hindered women's development, but it had violated. You know what I'm saying? So the men was fighting back, trying to act like, that y'all trying to fight against nature and nurture. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Um,
You know,
you say that we were trying to fight against nature and
no,
nurture.
yeah, that was the men's argument. They was trying to fight, they were saying y'all trying to fight against nature and nurture. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's a woman's nature to be caring and loving and take care of children. That's why y'all have children. That's why your breasts produce milk. So that way, you're supposed to feed the baby. That's why you have breasts. Like this is God that made, back then they were super, super Christian. God didn't make a mistake when he made women, and this was women's job. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And women were like, we're not animals to just bear your children. How dare you? That's not my
They just
that's not
they didn't
that's
for some reason in a male society at that time. I'm not saying now. We're only talking about the time of the 1950s, the late 1950s to the early 1960s, where these women kept feeling unfulfilled. in their domestic duties at home because that's all the hell they were doing. The birth rate was increasing, the average marriage was dropping, the portion of women attended college was decreasing. It was just a lot of women stuck in the house all damn day. So, um, yeah, there was that.
Trey says once black women started to believe this foolery, the black community fell apart and has not recovered since. Then the crack took the mothers out of the home, and now here we are. No, the crack took the fathers out of the home and women
Yeah,
too.
and women too, but mostly the fathers. But if we examine what Ferdinand was saying, that started the second wave, because that this book started the whole fucking wave, right?
Right. The bar reloaded is I'm assuming she's meaning men. This is what men say is the period they want to go back to, and they say that women were happy and and should do this to be happy. Yet women clearly weren't happy.
Mm-mm.
And the thing about it is in 19 well this is still the 1960s, so I can say this. It still falls in it. In 1969, California was the first state to ratify the no fault divorce. And when a no fault divorce was ratified in California, many other states adopted it. And that's when you saw the divorce rate skyrocket, which is a testament that these women didn't want to be in these marriages. And to some degree, this is true because we shotgun weddings and all of that was a thing back then. You was out there having your fun, exploring your sexuality, and the baby popped out. Well, the way that the moral society was at that time, like I said, heavy Christian. They was like, you ain't about to shame the family and embarrass the family. And even men pushed the weddings, the shotgun weddings. You're gonna make a legitimate woman out of my daughter. You're not finna just hump on my daughter, make a baby, and take off. You're about to live up to your responsibilities, young man. Now say I do with the shotgun. Say I do. So it's not just a woman. It wasn't, what I'm saying, just women that was just on this ideal of forcing marriages. It was men as well.
It was
Men
men as
cannot.
well.
Absolutely. Black women were already working. This is true. This is true. The For our community, it has always been, for us to survive, it required a two-parent household. You see it in through all, like, a lot of the movies, the help and all of that. These women were maids and they was doing what they had to do, but they all had husbands, and their husbands also worked. And
Back in the 1950s, in the
hey,
early
hey,
16,
Miss Fields.
in the early 1960s. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
It was a,
Everybody
it
that's
was a
watching, everybody hit that subscribe button on that new channel that you're watching it on. This channel you're watching on right now, please hit the like and subscribe. This is the new channel. We've merged both platforms together. This is our new stage. Go ahead.
so Ferdinand was a psychologist. She wound up leaving the field because she had children, which most women of that time did when they were entering or trying to enter a career field. Once they got pregnant, they wound up bouncing. She had um problems and issues with other psychoanalysts that like to psychoanalyze women and their behaviors in the 1960s. No, this is like late 1950s. I'm sorry. She knows that this guy named Feud that wrote his name is Sigmund Feud, Sigmund Feud, noted that she noted that he saw women as childlike and disdained to be housewives. Once wait. She saw them and he saw them as childlike and housewives. He said nature has determined women's destiny through beauty, charm, and sweetness. Law and customs, law and custom have much loved the wife and loved that thought of a woman being dainty, being um sweet. There was there was a cult that his model in the cult for women was to be sweet. Wound up tattooing that shit on somebody's feet one time. That's a crazy another story. The Mr. Feud thought that women that are more career driven had penis envy.
Sigmund Freud.
Sigmund Freud. Okay, cool. So he said that it's an unproven concept that he pointed out, but he said, you know, if you super on your, you want to be a career woman, you want to be a physician, you want to be a lawyer, yeah, you got penis envy. That's not for you. Now, never mind you, this is a fight between a white man and a white white woman. We haven't got into how it affected us yet. So let's go on, shall we?
All right. So we're gonna move into the third wave now.
Yeah, third
Moving
wave.
we're moving into the third wave. Let me pull up face of the
Right.
third wave.
Ugh. Third wave, 1990s, y'all. We in the 1990s. We done came out in 1950, 1960s with the second, oh man, it was the second wave, with the second wave, and now we into the 90s with the third
Yeah.
wave.
Right. We get Miss Alice Walker. While the advancements of the second wave, feminism had undoubtedly achieved more equality and rights for women. The movement that had emerged in the early 1990s focused more on tackling problems that still existed, including sexual harassment in the workplace and a shortage of women in positions of power. You know, saying Miss Rebecca Walker here that you see listed as mixed race woman, the daughter of second wave leader Alice Walker, announced the arrival of feminism's third wave in 1992 while watching Anita Hill testify before the Senate committee about her accusations of harassment against Supreme Court nominee Clarence Thomas. That same year, dubbed the Year of the Woman, saw unprecedented number of women elected to Congress. So they fought for, you know, the original, like the definition read, positions of power. Boom. All right, they got it. An unprecedented amount of women were elected to public office and became lawmakers. So they got what they asked for. They asked for positions of power. Boom, they got it. So that fought reached this, you know, it reached this end. When it came to the sexual harassment and discrimination and all of that, you know,
Yeah.
that came up. What year was the Me Too movement? The Me Too movement was the pinnacle of that. That's when that was reached. That's when they got.
Shit.
That's when they got
2000 and was
like
it the double digits or single digits?
I think it was the double digits. It's, you know,
I think
Epstein and
so. We're gonna say 2011.
what's his
We're gonna
name?
start there.
What's the director dude Weinstein or something like that? Harvey Weinstein and all of that. Whenever that was popping, that's when that hit its pinnacle, and they achieved the goal they set out for.
So I know y'all looking at this picture and you looking at it and you like Rebecca Walker. Why do this name sound so familiar? Well, remember The Color Purple? Her mama wrote the book.
Oh man, the most detrimental, damaging thing that ever happened to the black community.
Cause I'm sitting here looking at it and it said what is it? What is it? What's her mama name? Alice Walker. And I was like, so that's her daughter. Oh shoot, like mother like daughter. Huh? Like mother like daughter.
All right, and that brings us up to the current Weezave.
Yeah, I
So
mean, we in the current present day, 2020
now
from the
this
2000, from the 99 to the 2000s.
right. Back that ass up. Oh,
You know,
feminism
we in
has
a,
look what feminism has achieved, something wonderful. Back that ass up, you know, women's
you
right.
know,
Pop,
because you're
pop
working
that,
with some man, yeah, some
yeah,
man,
yeah.
yeah,
You got your got
yeah.
your got your wop out and all of that, and you know, shaking that, you know what I'm saying? My pussy this, my pussy that, my booty hole brown. Man, feminism has achieved great heights. All right, so fourth wave
Man,
through the fourth wave feminism is relatively difficult to define, and I absolutely agree because it's not what the waves before that. It's not what the waves
Yeah.
before that were wanted. Hang on, my baby's talking to me.
It's relatively difficult to define, as some people argue it's simply a contention. Nigga, here he go with these big ass fucking $10 words. The emergence of the internet has certainly led a brand new wave to social media fueled by activism, launched by some chick, Tarina Bjork, at 20. Jesus,
Toronto, Toronto Burke, Toronto Burke.
Tarana. What did I say? Tarana.
Yeah.
Tarana Burke. The Me Too movement took off in 2017. Shit, I was nowhere near close. In the wake of the revolutions about the sexual misconduct and influence film producers Harvey Weinstein. In addition to holding power from men accountable for their actions, fourth wave feminists are turning their attention to the system that allows such misconduct to occur, like their predecessors. Is in the feminist cause, they also continue to grapple with the concept of intersectionality and how the movement can be inclusive and representative regardless of sexuality, race, class, gender. It don't matter. The fourth wave push to have equality outcomes. They don't care. But I think the fourth wave, it's also not just about women. They got the transgenders, they got the gay agenda, they got the transgender agenda, they got the women's rights agenda. It's just so many wars being fought on so many fronts, making so many enemies along the way. We got some TikTok videos for you guys.
All right, let me so now that that's out the way, that our feminist man haters, in the current state wave, not the waves before, because the waves before, as I mentioned before, I'm a whole man, and I have no issues with the previous waves. I have no issue with the definition of wanting equality and the treatment the same as men. Remember that, y'all, because I'm gonna come back to that, because that's where this new wave kind of got the contradiction. So let me pull up tiki taki, tiki taki, and let's hear what some women have to say about feminism. Screen share, bada bing, tiki taki.
People consider me a feminist, but today I'm going to call out toxic feminism and explain to people what the difference is. Toxic feminism believes that women are above men. I just want to be treated equally. Toxic feminists feel as though it is their right to verbally or physically abuse men. Feminists think that verbal abuse and physical abuse is wrong, no matter the gender. Toxic feminism claims that only women are the victims. Feminism does not dismiss the things men go through, but it also doesn't ignore the things that women go through. Toxic feminism demonizes men. Feminism accepts men, but understands that there are things that we as women experience that need to change, like being told we deserved something because of the way that we were dressed. Toxic feminism is sexism. Feminism isn't. Toxic feminism is harmful. Feminism is helpful. Toxic feminism for women is pretty much misogyny for men. Toxic feminism reminds me of extremism in religion. It doesn't mean the foundation's bad, it just means there's assholes in it that give the rest of us a bad name.
So there is a toxic femininity, and there's a just a regular. We want equality feminism. You know, some feminism is super toxic. It's super toxic. And our show, I'm gonna put that banner up one more good time. Is feminism pro woman or anti men? When it comes down to the fourth wave, I'm gonna say that Joan is a little anti man, just a little tad little misandrous, you know. I'm only saying this because it go a little bit too far. Same thing with misogyny. Just go a little too far. Just a little too far. To our next one. Press play, brother.
Controversial, but I think sometimes feminism went in like a more toxic way, in a way that like feminism like means equal, right? Like equal rights, equal whatever thing. But sometimes because people like are trying to emphasize on the empowerment too much, I think a lot of the girls like are bashing down on guys, saying that like, oh, we are better than guys, even though the entire concept is they're just equal.
So many girls are like that.
You know what I mean?
They'll be asked questions like
Yeah.
either by friends or on the street. Like I've seen so many of these online where it's like they ask the girl about feminism and they're like, do you think men are better than women? And they're like, no. Do you think women are better than men? Yeah. And they just start like putting
It's
themselves
too
higher.
much. It's
Yeah.
too much. Yeah, sometimes. And I get that like sometimes like for girls, because they've been looked down or like seen as less capable, that they have to do like the extra mile, but that doesn't mean that you should treat like guys in such a low place, you know?
I think a lot of times now it's very much like a me versus you type of thing instead of
Yeah.
us versus
It's not,
what is-
yeah.
Yeah, and there it is. These are women saying this. You know, this is women making these arguments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
gonna play one more, and then we can
We're
get
gonna
ready to.
give our opinions and then we're gonna start letting people come up on there.
Okay, absolutely. Boom. So let me play this next one.
It is totally okay that you don't want children. It is totally okay that you do not want to depend on a man. It is totally okay that you do not want a family. But what you don't get to do is attack the nuclear family. What you don't get to do is demonize masculinity because you don't know how to be in a copacetic balance and harmony with it. See, all of us that want a family, we understand that societies thrive when there's two healthy parents that can create a healthy masculine and feminine balance in the home. If you are a true feminist, you would be teaching and influencing women to honor their femininity so that they don't feel like masculinity is an attack.
Boom. Boom. I wish you see my sound effects messed up earlier. I would have had the dynamite. Boom. You know what I'm saying? But I have to do this for now.
Tim. Yeah. Tim.
Yes.
Opinions on first wave feminism. Let's look to this one.
Opinion on first wave feminism. I really don't have an issue with first wave feminism, other than its conception being based in racism. But outside of that, I don't see nothing is really wrong with first wave feminism. I think that it's like it's on the surface level, because the reason why back then that men were the only ones allowed to vote is because like a stipulation of voting was you had to be serving the armed forces, and back then women couldn't serve enough armed forces. Men had to be drafted and go fight the wars and all of that. So there's that caveat, but from a surface level, I don't think first wave feminism really was anti-men. It was more, like I said, it was more from a racist thing. Well, hey, if you're going to give this group of men this, then give women, hey, give us that too. And then the black woman was like, hey, yeah, that's right, because before I'm black, I'm a woman too. So all of that came in there. What is your thoughts on first wave?
My thoughts on first wave was, I think it was totally racial driven, because I'm not going to say black women wasn't thinking about the right to vote. We just wanted our men to get in there first. Like, we just was happy that we could vote. Like, let's just be real. When we took it as black men got a right to vote, we took it as we got a right to vote. That's just how we took it. Now, we never really thought about the numbers game in that shit. I will say that. we ain't think about how many black men there are versus how many black women they are. Meaning, like we fucked around. If we would have let just men vote, be always outvoted. There's that. That was why that was important for us as a black community, for the women to vote. I never took it as, well, the white woman said she wanted to vote, and I was like, I want to too. I always thought that black women of that time, of the 1920s and 30s, I always thought they would want to vote so they could have the higher numbers in votes. You know, like they could, so they could compete in the voting game as a race. I just thought that was the more logic situation. So, Timotheus, thoughts on second wave feminism? Wave. Yeah, second wave feminism.
Hey, God, give me just a sec.
Come on, get with it, because I was ready. It's ready. Fire, rapid fire. Bop, 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 bop. I
Okay.
was ready.
Could you repeat that again? I'm sorry, I got distracted.
Second opinion. I mean, your second opinion on
Second
second
wave.
wave feminism. What's your opinion on that?
Second wave feminism, I don't disagree because there was abuse that women were experiencing. I can't deny that, women were being abused, and
Mhm.
I don't think that it was to it was at the forefront the way it's being portrayed, as if, this is just men are innately violent and abusive to women. I don't agree with that at all. But I do agree that, you shouldn't be beating on women just because you come home and your dinner's cold. You know what I mean? Because that's how it was back then in those times, through the 60s and 70s, the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Men would come home from work, and they would want a hot meal at the ready. But I do think that the color purple was damaging, because that to this day it's used as an example to illustrate men ain't shit. You know what I mean? And I disagree with that. Your thoughts?
My thoughts on second wave feminism is, here's my thoughts. Second wave feminism, because I did read the book. Like, I think I read it at least twice, because the first time I was like, okay, a lot of things was going over my mind, because over my head, because I couldn't relate to the shit. So once I started, actually listening to the book, see, reading and listening is totally two different things. So once I started listening to the book, and I started listening to some of the ladies' letters that they wrote to Ferdinand, or whatever that lady's name is, I listened to those, because that was not in the book. Okay, I would say that the auto book and the regular book is totally two different things. They read totally two different ways. She had letters and shit. I was like, you bitch, you had letters in your damn book. Anyway, with understanding that a lot more, I think that these women were very, very, very unfulfilled. They were they wasn't happy just doing that. And to have a lifestyle where you have no other options but this, but the opposite sex and everybody else around you have all these fucking options, would make you feel a little blue. It would make you feel a little sad, a little depressed. Um, Not having any other, like having talents, having skills that you never could use because you're a woman. Having talents, having skills that you never could use because it's considered manly, masculine. I can't imagine. I can't imagine the singers of today not being able to sing, not being able to play the piano, not being able to be a lawyer, not being able to be a doctor, because society still had that stigma. And then when it came down to the color purple, and this the message and the image that it, well, not the message, but the imagery that it put out, I'm gonna say this. I ain't gonna say every because that's a broad generation, a broad generalization, and that's a blanket statement. I don't want to put that out there. I'm gonna say a lot of our celebrity singers, R&B singers, from male to female, back then, did come from a lot of abuse, whether it was sexually, physically. It was a lot of that going on. So is Billie Holiday a lie? Is Mahalia Jackson a lie? Aretha Franklin a lie? James Brown a lie? Sam Cooke a lie? Uh, what's that? What's the dude? Little Richard? A lot of the people we look up to as R&B greats were abused, bro. Sis, they were abused. Not by the stepdad neither. And not by only dad neither. This was something in the black community. Now, one thing that the Color Purple didn't show was the contrast of how women are, how women could be as devilish as men at that time. Like that Billie Holiday story. She grew up in a whorehouse. I wonder how many people got that damn story. I wonder. Because that's not how daddy fought. That's how mama's fault. It's a mama's fault, people. So it was a lot of shit in the black community back then. We only like the things that make us look good. We only like the things that make our skin look more shiny. We don't like the other things that was going on because of our own, because of Jim Crow, slavery, you all the things that happened to us that we never dealt with. That shit had to come out some way. Your opinion, Timothy, is third wave feminism.
Third wave feminism and the whole harassment thing, and I can dig that. I think that everyone should be able to go to work and not be harassed. Absolutely, both ways.
Well, wait.
And both ways, because women absolutely do it to men as well. It's just men tend to not um report it. You know what I mean? That's a different thing. But as far as just being able to function in society, to not go on an interview and the hiring person is like, okay, you got to bust it open if you want this job. I don't think that that type of stuff is fair. The Harvey Weinstein and all of that type of stuff,
Yeah.
that's absolutely unacceptable. So, like I said, with the previous waves, I take no issue. The only issue that I
Yeah, go
stand on
dive into the
firmly
fourth wave. Yeah.
is the fourth wave. Okay, and your thoughts on the third?
That was my thoughts on the third. My thoughts on the third, my thoughts on the third and my thoughts on the second are the same. Because without the second, there is no third. The second gave birth to women actually going to the workplace to actually get sexually harassed. What the fuck? If she wasn't there, she wouldn't have got sexually harassed, would she? So there we got that. I'm not saying that she shouldn't have been there. I'm just saying if she wouldn't have been there, she wouldn't even knew of anything called sexual harassment. There wouldn't have been a such word or such terminology. So as we evolutionize in this damn feminism thing, we done found out a whole new situation that affects not only just women, but men too, because y'all don't say nothing when you're being sexually harassed by women that you don't like. When you get sexually harassed by your old ass boss, you know, that old lady with the wrinkles that just keep, slapping you on your butt, being a little too friendly, always want to give you a hug all the time. So, you know, you it's a two-way street to me. For morphine always try to be fair, man. I'm not a feminist. Or I am a feminist. I guess you would say I am a feminist because I am fair. I try to be equal. I want if it's bad for you, it's bad for me. If it's bad for me, then it's bad for you. I can't be touching on you. You can't be touching on me. And like I said before, we cannot ignore that these things were happening in our community. I don't know about anybody else's community. We already know them white men was beating the shit out them white women. We already know that because we don't gotta talk about that. But I'm just saying, in our community, it was it was some things, man. It was some things from the second to the third, and I mean, it was some things. Let's go to the fourth. The fourth, my opinion about the fourth.
The fourth. Oh,
No, your
the
opinion's first. What's your opinion about the
the,
first? The
the
fourth.
fourth is the fourth, and this is my opinion. Emphasis on my opinion. The fourth contradicts all the stuff from the from the previous waves. It's like
Mm.
everything. It's like all the rights that they fought for. They want to have those protections, but not do what's the things that society would seem. They want to rewrite morality because absolutely, I 100% agree that if it's 105 degrees outside in the summer and a chick goes outside wearing some little bitty shorts and the crop top, that she should not have to deal with people touching her. That is unacceptable. But saying things,
Mhm.
but saying looking and saying compliments, that should never be demonized and seen as toxic. It is, you cannot toxify biology. It is me as a heterosexual male. I am by nature, by biology, my genetic makeup, every single cell in my fiber of my being is attracted to women. And if you are an attractive woman and you come outside wearing something, even though it's hot, I get it, but it's gonna be appealing to me, then I'm gonna look and be like, ooh, ah, achika, mama say, mama sa, mama maku sa. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's
I
that's just
get you.
what that's just what it is. Like, and vice versa, because women do it to men too. And the caveat to that is that it's only a problem when it's someone that the individual is not attracted to. Same with the harassment in
Mm.
the work, same with the harassment in the workplace. If it's a dude that the fat dude with the bumps on his back of his neck, because you know what I mean, he got keloids in the back of his neck because he ain't supposed to be shaving with a razor, and he got that he always sweating even though the AC is on and it's 28 degrees inside the building, but he's still sweating. And he like, good morning, beautiful. You look nice today. I get it. But at the same time, if it's that handsome Idris Elba dude at the job doing that, oh, it's not a problem then. And that happens to men in the workplace too. Just like I said earlier, men don't report it. We got them
Yeah.
very unattractive women that do the same thing. Hey Tim, oh, you looking nice, you smell good. And those women touch men too. Oh, I like your outfit. This is nice. All my life I've had long hair, and women say I have pretty hair. They walk, oh, your hair, and they touch me. Your hair is so pretty. It's so soft. It's like, if that was in reverse and a man was to touch a woman like that, it's a whole problem. All right, and I land
Yeah.
the plane. And I land the plane.
We gave our opinions about the show. I'm gonna turn the floor over to the panel. I hope you guys watched, because you know how we do our shows. You gotta watch it first, so you can understand what we're talking about. Today's topic is feminism pro. Is feminism pro woman or is it anti men? We talked from the first wave all the way to the fourth. So, what are y'all opinions? One wave at a time. Who we gonna start with?
Well, I'll start because I've been watching, and I have to say that Timotheus, he hit everything dead on as to how I feel. Like the first, second, and third, they were more about, just being treated equally, being treated as a human being. Being able to vote, being able to go into the workplace without feeling like you're because you're a woman, um, that it's okay to be sexually harassed and things of that nature. So everything that he said, I pretty much 100% agree on. I don't subscribe to feminism. They can keep that. This fourth wave is crazy. And I like the videos that the 3 videos that you guys.
Oh, what happened to her?
Equality
I started typing and she's. Oh, there we go.
and be treated fairly. But now we've turned it into this thing where I'm
Miss Fields, you going out and we can't hear you, babe.
I'm sorry. I've been having internet problems all day because of those storms and weather. So pretty much just saying that I agree with Timotheus that, first, second, and third wave, cool. We just want equal rights, be treated like human beings. Fourth wave, we're trying to make it seem like we're better than men because we can do all these things, and they can keep that. I don't want it. I'm not down with that one. I need the men around me. I'm not a feminist. I don't give a damn.
Next, anybody?
Yep.
Trey. Miss.
Y'all jump in next.
Ready?
Right on.
What's up, dynamic duo? Happy New Year. I like coming on your panel because it's always good discussions. Now,
We break it to you every time. Every
yeah, I saw
time,
my
baby. We break it.
comments. I sort of just strike it through my own life experience as a young kid, living in the projects for a short period of time, having to move out of the projects because my mother would not give up our father. They were married, so they had to make a decision to move us to a house, and seeing all of my best friends and some of the best women ever raise those children in those projects. It was a different time. It seemed like from those adults and the women before them coming out of the post-slavery early 1900s, and the way the community was sort of forced to be together. From that 100 years we got from slavery, we were sort of forced in that dynamic going through Jim Crow. You couldn't go to certain neighborhoods, couldn't go certain places after dark. Is what they say. Street lights, sun go down, you better be in your part of town. And then just in my experience, seeing how my grandparents moved and how they operated, always respected themselves. Respected themselves, respected their community, owned homes. Everybody was invested into the community. You could correct a child that lived 4 or 5 houses down on your block, and having that experience. And everything was, moving along pretty smooth. We had 100 good years of that. Black people were building and creating their own lane as far as within society. And then Jim Bob was, slapping Becky around a little too much. And they're like, we got to get out of here. So, again, they sort of pulled our sisters into it because black women, like I said, black women were already working. They were working as maids, and, in the domestic field already. The black man was doing a lot of labor, the constructions, because we had those skills coming out of slavery. If you go look, I think we invented at least 70 or 80 things that we still use today as slaves and coming right out of slavery. So it's unique that those people, no education, couldn't read, invented way more stuff than us loud talking, mostly talking people do today with all this great technology. And then and I'm just gonna move it along. And then coming up, as a young man, seeing when crack sort of feminism took the fathers out the home because, if you had to, like you say, you couldn't have a father in home on welfare. And that's why fathers could have families on 2 sides of town, because first part of the month, the social worker would come to this side of town. Second half a month, she would go to the other side, so fathers could bounce back and forth, and you never knew until like, oh man, he got 16 kids, 2 different families. So
Okay.
That was that dynamic. And now, and people still survive. We were still thriving. Nobody, people were avoiding a lot of the pitfalls because we understood. Then we went to a time when everybody wanted to be pro-Black and do their thing, and college enrollment went up. People were coming out, getting into the workforce, living their lives off of 40,000. And then crack came in and took the mother out the home. Fathers was already out the home. So once they took the mothers out the home, we have a generation that was pretty much raising themselves and sort of repeating a lot of the things that we were fighting against. And now here we are in this new way. The dynamic is that now they've sort of added the alphabet community into this feminist movement, which is essentially men. So those people will start getting women excluded out of certain positions. I think feminism today, as far as is it anti-man? Put that up in there? What was that? Is it pro-women or anti-man?
Pro-woman
I
and
think it's
anti-man, baby.
anti-man. I think it's anti-man. Men would never exclude women. I don't think us as colored men, we wouldn't have never want to exclude women from being into the workforce and making money. It's just that we wanted to be part of the family dynamic. And where the women fall short is that they want to exclude us when it comes to the financial part of it, but have us included in everything else. And that'll never work. That'll never build a community. That'll never sustain families going into the future, because it's going to go from anti-man to anti-women and men as we go into our future with the alphabet community, because they're going to push the women out.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Freddie.
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to say that. I'd like to say that. With the male, I know the male, single male in the family home feels like down and depressed, but just look at the opposite sex of the single woman, that single mother in the family, as working as a single household, may feel they'll have those same feelings too. So it's not just one shoe on one foot. You have to look at both sides of the spectrum. So I think this is the problem within our society, especially within the Black community, is understanding that it's feminism. It's like, so I would agree that feminism is like really looking at both sides of the opposite sex. As we both have feelings, you know what I'm saying, obviously, but like as the Bible says in Genesis 1 verse 26, it said God created male and he created him a helpmeet out of his side. And so the wife is supposed to support the male, but also the male is supposed to support the wife. So I'm just trying to figure out how we kind of deviated from that when I mean,
Can I say something, guys? How y'all doing this evening?
bless.
Good evening.
Right,
Right on. Go ahead, Paul.
Welcome, Paul.
one of the issues I have, and this is not an attack on Mr. Freddie because I heard what he said, but it just reminds me of the way we've had these discussions in the back chat, and you'll always get a what about? Well, what about this? It's like, if we talk about what women go through, right? Well, let's say you guys do a show about what women go through and how they feel.
Mm-hmm.
The next day you do a show about what men go through and what they feel. You're gonna have somebody come in and say, but what about when women? You're always gonna get this what about ism. I
Why everybody keep going out?
It's a bad storm sweeping across the country right now. So
Yeah, I
It
was gonna say
is.
I don't know about anybody else, but we've had it bad here. Like my internet was out like for 6 hours. So maybe that has something to do with it.
So can us men and women band together and get something done about these internets? Can we just come together?
Well, try
Yeah,
explaining that to a 3-year-old who wants to watch
think
Baby
that
Girl.
if we're
Okay.
gonna when we
oh man, he just was getting it together. I don't know where you at, brother, but you going in and out.
hello.
There you go.
I can hear you.
We can hear you now.
Okay.
Is it in and out?
So
There we go. There
as
we go.
I'm in and out.
No, you good now.
Oh, okay. What I was saying is that the title of the show is pro woman or anti man or anti male, or is it anti man? Anyway, ooh, ooh, I'm just really curious about some things that, or something that one of the ladies in the video. There's always a video where a woman who's a feminist is talking about, love and embracing her femininity, and then you'll have, like she said, you might have some woman coming in trying to shame her. I think maybe there's a dynamic that women might need to get together and have these real discussions, and maybe, or maybe we should, as a society, should just understand that, like she said, you're going to have women. There's always going to be a toxic person in some kind of a group. I think Keisha, way back when you, Greg, and Denise had that other show, there was somebody made the statement about some toxic woman coming in and hiding, using feminism as a means to attack men, and that's just basically what you have that happens. And just like in the manosphere, you got all these toxic men. Well, I'm not gonna say manosphere, but anybody who is like just pro man, about being a man and taking care of a woman, and all these other things. You'll have some man come in, some guy come in with this toxic idea, and then he makes the rest of us look like, we support what he would say. You understand what I'm trying to say? I hope I'm not losing anything.
No, we get it. We get
I
it.
think
It goes both ways.
we should just be mindful, and like, I would never attack feminism, but I would probably argue with the toxic feminist. You know what I mean? I would be at odds with, if not argue, I would be at odds with the toxic feminist, just like a woman might be at odds with the toxic male. So I think it's based, I guess we could say, based on who we're talking to and where that person is coming from. Is where and also one more thing. The elder said something about, what's his name? Mr. Michael, is it? In the corner, red shirt.
His name is the player's coach.
Trey Ferd.
The player's coach. Okay.
The player.
Okay.
That's what I'm
Trey
saying.
Ferd.
The elder said something about how black men would not want to not include black women, and I agree with him on that. Most black men do not want to exclude black women from making money and contributing, because especially in today's economy, it takes two. Kevin Samuels always talked about there's only a 1% or a 10% of men that can pay all bills. So that's really just all I had to add for now. There was some other things, but I can't think of everything, and I don't want to take up too much airtime trying, with all the stuttering and the so I'm gonna sit back.
Can I rebuttal something that Paul said?
Of course.
Brother Paul,
welcome
hold on, man. Brother Paul, I ain't no elder, man. We probably close enough. I just got this gray beard, man. That's what working with the youth do. When you work with the youth, you
I
get a
could
little
call
gray.
you an elder. I could say elder
All
Farah.
right.
What's
Yeah,
up,
that's what.
Neo? Welcome to the
He is here. Him is here.
Hi, Neil.
Hi, Mr. Jules. I heard the old Lord. I don't want you blaspheming. I am not Christ. I might look like him, but I'm not Christ. All right, let's go.
So Neo, to catch you up on the show, brother. I don't know if you was watching for the last the first 30 minutes. This is the first 30 minutes in our show is very important because we give out all the information. We went from the first wave of feminism all the way to the fourth wave of feminism. We gave them the facts, and we at the end of the facts, we gave them our opinion as hosts. Now we open this forum up for the panelists, the panel. What's your thoughts from first wave to second to fourth wave? I'm sorry, from first wave to fourth wave. Please be in chronological order because that's confusing.
Oh no, it ain't no chronology for me. It's no chronological order because the first wave was from Satan himself. First wave was from Satan himself. Absolutely. Right. So look, I'm gonna tell you like this. You know where I come from. You know how I play it, how I think, how I see it. Right. So Adam and Eve, they chilling in the garden, right? Oh, like, it's gonna go there. I mean, him is here. Him is here.
Lord. Oh Lord.
Adam and Eve chilling in the garden, right?
No, somebody did this nigga. Son.
The Satan could, the serpent, aka Satan, could have just went to Adam and said, you know what, Adam? This motherfucking fruit look pretty good, don't it? But guess what? Adam would have slapped the shit out of him. Adam would have slapped the shit out of his ass and said, the Lord my God said, don't eat from that motherfucking tree. So that serpent, he went to the weakest link. He went to that one that was going to fall for that bullshit deception. And guess what? He went to that woman. And after that, the Most High said, therefore man shall rule over thee. Because you can't handle the serpent. Adam, I'm going to put him in charge over you because you fall for that bullshit. You naive.
Oh, this is about to be good.
This is about to be real good. Guess what?
Hey, real quick, Neo, may I say this, bro? I'm glad you clarified that verse for me because I always thought that was he was talking to the serpent. But thank you.
What you mean he was talking to the serpent?
That he shall rule over you, part? I thought
no, that was Adam. That was man.
Right.
Man shall rule over thee.
Right. Rule over. Okay.
Come hit the link, Fabo. Hit the link. You ain't on the show yet, nigga. It's in the back. Hit the link. But yeah,
go ahead, brother Love one. Brother Love.
I'm just saying, I'm traditional. I don't believe that men and women are equal, as in the same 50-50, all this shit. I don't believe in none of that. That woman's supposed to raise them kids, and that man's supposed to provide. This country, aka this company, got y'all working ass backwards. And everything that they know is wrong is what they're telling y'all is right to do. So no, women and men ain't equal. The man is the head, and the woman is the neck or the help, whatever you want to say.
Okay.
Well,
he said what he said.
How y'all doing tonight? That's all I gotta say.
Yo, listen, we doing well tonight. We doing better that you done came up on here and put the Lord into some of these situations. I wouldn't have did that, but hey,
you like how I did it though. You like how I did it.
Hey, but again, though, my standpoint is I don't have an issue with the first three waves. I think that women should be able to work and be treated with respect and not seen as, just your job is to shut up and make me a sandwich. I agree with that. But this fourth wave feminism is where I disagree with the whole we're better than men and we don't need a man, and they got these group of women running around. Yeah, we just look at the stats. We the number one educated. We doing this. These men ain't here. Ain't doing nothing. that's
would you agree that we got here through a process? Because you just not like you just named it.
Yes,
So I'm
sir.
just asking. Would you believe and agree that we got here through a process? You just named all of these waves of feminism. So once again, would you agree that it was a process that got us here?
Right.
I agree. I agree. It was a process, and I would add that the first three waves of feminism have been fulfilled. They have come to fruition. This fourth wave is not the definition of what feminism is. It's literally women attempting to oppress and belittle and downplay men and say we're not your, it's demonizing men in every fashion and function. And
So
the way that they're doing it is that they're taking on attributes that would commonly be associated or normally be associated with attributes of men that women would call toxic. But when they adapt these same attributes, they see it as them having tenacity. It's empowerment. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're doing the same exact thing that you said you had a problem with men doing. But when you do it, now that's the famous.
So
That's
would
it.
you agree that it was a process?
Oh yes, I said I agree. It's a process of how we got here.
So if I may, Tim,
hold on.
it sounds okay. Go ahead.
That for a reason. So what I'm trying to say to you is you noticed the end result of the process once it got there. I noticed the end result of the process from the beginning. This was the goal the whole time. You know what that serpent told her to make her eat the fruit and give it to Adam?
You will not die.
Nah, that ain't it. Try again.
You shall be like him. You shall be like God. Your eyes will be open.
That was close. You were close, Paul. You own it. Trey, Mr. Trey, I know you got me. What did that serpent really promise her?
I ain't got you, man. I ain't got you because it's all confused from where it started. Okay. We here today.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you, Freddie, would you like to guess what that serpent really told him? Or would Jessica like to guess what I'm about to say?
Oh no, I'm good.
That told her, if you make him eat from this tree, I will make him bow to you. That's what he told her. I will make him bow to you. He will serve you. He will have to bow to you.
I don't remember that part.
That's what he.
I'm gonna have to go find the Bible right quick. I know I
That's what he told her. That man will bow to you. I will put you as head of the household.
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one.
It's a process.
So, brother, what you're saying is, based on what you say, is this an ordained process? And that's how we hear it was
ordained by Lucifer.
But I'm just saying,
from
it
the
was
beginning of time. From the beginning of time.
We in trouble then.
From the beginning of time.
We in trouble.
I kind of agree with Neo. Neo does have a point because he was you see when Adam and Eve were already married. So when Adam ate of the forbidden fruit, it's where the childbearing came in, because he crushed. God crushed Satan's head, crushed his heel.
Okay, so are you guys implying that feminism as a spirit? Hang on. I'm sorry, Freddie. Oh, you were still talking? I'm sorry. You're low. Continue. I didn't mean to cut you off. No, you were low. I couldn't hear you. You were talking. My apologies. Go ahead and continue.
Yeah,
Somebody got
he
YouTube
was
on in
like
the background.
he made Neil made an excellent point that it was because in the beginning they were both married.
Yeah.
Mute
You
your
know what
mic,
I'm
Neil.
saying? When God took that rib out of Adam's side, he made for him a woman. So marriage was already instituted from the very beginning. But it wasn't until because God gave Adam and Eve a choice. You can eat of any fruit of the garden except from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. One, Eve ate of the fruit, forbidden fruit. Nothing happened. Two, when Adam ate, that's when they got separated and noticed that they were naked. So they went in and made for them leaves of clothing. So that's a sin issue. And God crushed Satan's head when he put that issue there, made him.
Okay,
I got
so
that. That's all.
what you guys are implying is that feminism as an organization was preordained through Satan by whispering in the woman's ear all those thousands of years ago and got the ball rolling. And when white men gave black men the right to vote was the opportunity that women saw to take to to put the plan in motion.
White women,
Right. White
black women
right,
weren't included in that.
that white women was like, you know what? Now is the time to strike.
And then they wanted to get more numbers, so what they do, they appeal to black women. They fed all black women all their foolishness, all that color purple mess that every black woman spews now. They think all black women went through that, and it's not so. Or they'll paint the narrative that yeah, when grandpa was beating grandma, and not everybody grandma was getting whooped. Now cut that out.
No, everybody grandma wasn't getting whooped. However, we just can't ignore that a lot of them was. Like that's just all
No,
it
Okay,
but
is.
yeah, but when we
no.
do that and use that argument, now we're saying that this is the bigger reason and cause. Now for those numbers, yes, I get it. But for those women that weren't, you're diminishing them. It's like if a
The
woman
women that
says,
wasn't what?
hold on, wait a minute. It's like when a woman says, I'm happy with my husband. You got that woman that's disgruntled talking about, yeah, but what about the man that did me? Like, what is she supposed to do? Be mad at her husband because another man whooped on another woman?
Yeah,
Now she got to be mad at her husband?
they hit each other with
Come
the
on,
guilt trip. They call
come
each
on,
other
man.
stupid on the slick.
I
Like,
mean,
girl, you
listen.
better than me. I
On the,
couldn't
on,
do it.
on the flip side, though, if a guy is doing things for his woman and he's showing gifts, you've seen this in the male groups. He's showing
He's a simp.
acts of appreciation, and he a simp, he a this, he a that. So,
This
like
is
I
But
said,
another
men,
to be
but men
fair,
don't
to
fall
be
for that.
fair,
but
But
this is
men don't
another
yes,
fall for that.
they're like,
For that. For that.
yeah, they do. Yes, they do.
No,
Yes, they do.
no, no
And
man,
in
no man who
2024,
is
they do.
no,
that's a
Yes,
new
no.
they do.
phenomenon to me.
I don't
You
know
know,
any man that has allowed other men to make him feel stupid for loving his woman and taking care of her. I don't know any
No,
man that does that.
and
no,
see what's interesting is by bringing that up, that's kind of the other side of the argument to this topic is, is the manosphere really anti-woman or is it pro-man type thing? That sounds like a whole nother show we need to do. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because because
but
that's
you
kind
gotta
of what.
look at.
At least my brother
No, I'm
Timothy
sorry.
is to
I'm
understand
sorry.
that. I'm sorry, bro.
No,
My
no, I
brother
was gonna say I'm
Timothy.
sorry.
Oh, my brother Timothy is to understand that we see it. It's not just we can't say only in the KS groups, man. When there is a group just for men and they get to talking like the barbershop, you start hearing the little trying to chump the bull for like doing things that he love his wife to do. Even in our back chat, they do it. Come on now. Like, it's like, well, what she do for you? What she do? You know, like it's
And
but,
This is a new
wait, I'm not
phenomenon,
denying
though.
that women do that though. I'm not denying that. I just want to put that out.
This,
And
this,
I'll add as a stay-at-home mom and wife, there have been a lot of times where certain men have said something as far as like he does too much. So you mean to tell me you
single
don't
man.
work, you don't pay no bills. So what is it that you do? And in a nutshell, pretty much kind of try to label him a simp. Like he pedestals
Single
me.
man.
but does
So
your
it does happen.
husband? But does your the thing I'm saying is most men don't fall for it. Does that cause a problem with you and your husband?
Hell no.
Probably
Matter of
not.
fact, when I tell him about it, he be like, "Well, I'm a simp then. I don't care. I love my
Exactly.
wife.
See my
My
point?
Because
family."
he's a
You see
husband.
my point?
Paul's proving his point. But okay, so help me out. Maybe I'm just behind on the times, and I've always been a proponent of African American history. That's all I really focused on. So, and I had this conversation with some friends a couple of weeks ago. So, from the time slavery ended, 1865. Now we got the 1965. We had 100 years of where we were pretty much forced to be together and love each other. We were forced in that capacity. So y'all mean to tell me that once Jim Crow beat us down, the brother scrapping for a position on the really couldn't work too many jobs, maybe at a lumber yard, doing a whole lot of manual, dangerous work. So you mean to tell me these brothers were coming home and then they were going upside their women's heads, and these women were just out here in destitute because they helped me understand that. But then
That's the narrative. That's the narrative. I'm sorry.
we had the strongest families in any race during that time. The strongest family. We had great grandmama all the way down to the 6-week-old. We had 4 or 5 generations of families. You mean tell me these people? Show me the stories where grandma was sitting around, great grandmama. I ain't talking about no 50-year-old grandmama. I'm talking about that 115-year-old grandma. I'm talking about, yeah, y'all granddaddy used to go upside my head. And that's how all y'all born. This is just a new phenomenon. This stuff wasn't happening. Like, to me, I never saw it. I didn't see it. My daddy might have grunted a little bit and said a little crazy stuff, but he wasn't going upside my mama's head. My granddaddy didn't do that. I didn't know no friends of mine whose father was in the home was going upside their mama's heads. Yeah, and if you're a husband, you're gonna simp for your wife. You better treat her like she's the one. That's your wife, just like she should treat you like she's the one. These crack-era adults who don't get along, fight everybody, the men, the women, everybody fights, don't understand that. It just amazes me how we had 100 years where our elders were together. And now when I see other races, I don't really care about that because they go win over the black women anyway, regardless of what they say. They always gonna have an upper hand. You can go in the workforce. A sister might be up above a brother just because, but the white woman gonna be her boss and tell them both what to do. So it doesn't matter.
So wait, so you believe just because you didn't hear about Grandpa going upside Grandma's head that he never did it?
No. I don't think I think about 10% out of everybody, about 10%. It wasn't, I don't think it was a whole majority of. So if that's the case, then we ain't gonna never come up out of this. We gonna get worse. Because I don't remember a generation of my men going upside brothers when I was coming up, going upside girls and women's head when we started to become adults. I don't. Maybe if you lived in the hood all your life, the project where most people give up,
just because you never heard of it, don't mean
I say it's 10%. Okay, I give it 10%. I give it 10
I was trying to say that just because it didn't happen around you or you don't know doesn't mean it didn't happen.
But I give it 10%.
Like a grandmother ain't like a grandma ain't likely to tell her grandson, yeah, when I was younger, your grandpa used to whoop up on me and I put that cane knife to his neck. pour that hot grits on them, and like
Right.
shit.
Like,
Why would
So
she
y'all
tell
making
you that?
assumptions too. So did y'all see it? Like, did
Yeah,
y'all hear the stories? Are we making
I've
assumptions too?
heard stories from my
I heard
grandmother.
stories. I
I've
think
heard stories from my
everybody.
grandmother, but it's not normal. She didn't talk about it all the time. It wasn't nothing she always talked about.
Yeah, my father
Oh,
was
okay.
abusive
Yeah,
to my
I've never
mother,
heard
so
it from my
I grew up seeing it. My parents were that, but this I found it. I want to play this video right.
But he excluded the parents. He talking about grandmas and great grandmas like it wasn't happening back then. And I'm
Oh,
saying yes, it was. That story just wasn't passed down through the family line.
So the color
It, had
purple is
no-
true. So the color purple is true.
it wasn't a lie.
But what I'm saying is nobody can ever complain about that
it
again.
wasn't a blanket. Color purple wasn't a
Well, that's what it's
wasn't
saying.
to be a
It was a
blanket.
blanket.
Yeah, it's not
But
a
it has
blanket.
to be
But
because
I want to.
it has to be the blanket because that's
It
It
has
what
to
wasn't
be
though.
right.
the nation sees. So if it wasn't a small percentage, 10%, okay, I give it that. 90% of us was winning back then.
Okay, I want to play
That's
this
why.
video right here because this video right here it kind of tips on what we're talking about right now. How this fourth wave women, they make this argument about men are so abusive and they trying to enslave women and all of that and toxic behaviors and abusive. Well, this doesn't represent all women. I gotta throw the disclaimer. This does not represent all women, but this does represent that there is a sect of women that contradict that idea. I'm about to play it.
I just love a nigga that could put me in my place. I'm so dominant and strong. Like, I'm still gonna stand on my shit. And bitch, I said what the fuck I said. But I heard what you said, and I'ma respect that. I just love a nigga that could put me in my.
So she want a man that's gonna be in her face and tell her to shut the hell up and sit down. She want that.
Dang.
No, they don't. They don't want
Right,
that.
yo.
They don't want that.
I
Look
don't
at
want
that
that.
chick.
That's a man. That's a
Good,
real
yo.
man
That's what
because
she
I'm a
wants.
boss.
That's not
Well, and
what
that's what I'm
women.
saying.
If one
And
woman says
that was
go
the
ahead.
first thing I said, Keisha. The first thing I said was this is a disclaimer. This is what this woman said. That's the very first thing I said. But
Right.
I said this is an example that there are some women that contradict that notion.
There are some,
But
absolutely. That
but at the same
does
time,
not mean it's
that's
the
the same
all.
type of woman, though. At the same time, with her saying that, she will also be like, "Oh, who you talking to?"
Right. She just said
My
it.
daddy don't even talk to me like that. I said
Right.
what
She
I
just
said,
said.
but I respect what
Right.
you got to say, though. Yeah, right.
Right. She just said that. I said what I said. I need a man to put me in my place. And then she went on to pronounce or basically give an example of she gonna shoot back at him. She need him to check her. She wants a man to check her. A lot of women want to say what they want to say and don't want to be checked on it. And if a man doesn't say anything to you about it, then you just gonna push it. Then it's gonna get pushed further and further before you lose respect for him. And that's just a fact. A woman will lose respect for a man who's a pushover.
Absolutely.
That's the only double standard I don't understand. I don't understand how that don't work both ways. I just don't. Like a man would, it seems like that's just in my POV. I'm not saying this is a blanket statement on men, but some men seems like that they would take that. They would take that for a woman versus a woman taking that shit from a man.
And I can give you the history on that, like what Trey was saying earlier. We can tie that back to the late 70s when they got the locking up the men in the Panther movement, the crack movement, when the men was going to jail. These are boys that take that type of stuff, are the boys that grew up in a household where they only saw their mama in the lead. They mama talked to them just like that. She remind him of his mama. He might be, you know how they say you attracted to your parents and stuff like that. That's why there are some men that come up that deal with that because she act like my mama. This is the way it's supposed to be. This is the only example I've ever seen. This is the only example of a woman I've ever seen in real life.
I could see that.
Yeah, I could totally understand that. See, these are the conversations I want people to have. It's like you gotta understand this thing work
Right.
both ways. It worked both ways. It's not one-sided. We keep trying to make this shit one-sided. It's not. If you want women to be accountable, there's accountability to be on both sides, not just one. No one side is going to want to take accountability for every fucking thing. Black men
But the
ain't,
thing is,
black women ain't. No one is going to want to take all the accountability. So you're going to have to share that thing.
But the thing is, with the current wave, fourth wave feminism, as we know today, 2024, it contradicts itself. It says they got the women saying, you know, I don't need a man to do this for me. I got my own this. I don't need no man to take care of me. But if you want to date me, you got to pay all my bills. That's a whole contradiction.
Ms.
You
Morphine, you know what's funny about what you said? Men, for the most part, have always held each other accountable. We've always had, that's why you have the barbershops. That's why you have men playing at the basketball court. If men come out to those spaces talking out the side of their neck, most men would be like, brother, you are out of your damn mind. Wake the hell up. And we do that. Now, let me say this. It's probably within a generation gap, maybe about 10-year generation gap, because guys, you know, in a younger space, they sort of have that same, it's like they've all sort of feel like they went through a whole lot of trauma in their life. So they sort of champion each other, like, yeah, man, you're right. That we wasn't shit. Our mama and them wasn't shit. We didn't have shit. Da 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 da. They focus on that part. But then as the older generation, we focused on, okay, we understand where we are, but we're moving past that. We can't go back and change where our beginnings were. Because you people talk about we came from humble beginnings because we saw where we were. We understood that there was a better life because we watched the TV. We went to our cousins that lived in the suburbs and we traveled through the country driving. You could see all this like, man, I want to do that. And you were given like some sort of skill set to say you can go beyond where you are. High school, you know what I'm saying? You can do something. There's only really 4 or 5 options you have in America. Think about it. You either go to college after high school, you go to the military, you learn a skilled trade, you become a trucker, and skilled trade become a carpenter, plumber, electrician, all of that. That's it. Now this new thing, entrepreneur, but the problem with that is most Black people are only trying to focus on selling to other Black people. So it's going to be limited within itself. Most Black people ain't leaving America. It's the same number. We 12, 13% for the last 70 years since they've been taking the poll. We ain't leaving America. I don't care what nobody Black people say. Black folk ain't leaving America. So what do? You still got to follow the same path that a lot of us did. You got to make a choice early so you won't age yourself out. And that's where if we're falling short now because a lot of the young generation are not going to those traditional jobs that at least got your house paid for, got you out of college, got you out of high school. So by the time they're 35 and 40, they ain't really got nothing foundational. Now, age of reason kicks in for right about age 40. So now you're looking to start fresh when you're really 20 years behind because in your 40s, you fucking start wearing glasses. I never wore glasses. You start pulling cramps trying to have sex. You can't even carry the groceries in, push the lawnmower up. So I always praise if you start early as a man, focus on you, look upward and stop looking sideways. Stop blaming other people because where you started from. You got to start in a spot. Go, run like hell until you can't run no more. Meaning, travel, explore. That's what men are made to do. You can't sit in your same neighborhood and block those youth behind you because you in their damn way and your growth is only limited. And men are not, and men even understand this, even our own community and outside of it. We're not going to give a damn once you get to a certain age. After age 30, man, will look at you like, grow the fuck up. Some dudes still wearing their pants down below their ass. Grow the fuck up. Only got tennis shoes. Grow the fuck up. Don't take baths. Fuck up. So you got to be held. We held each other accountable. Women, no, it ain't the same. It ain't the same.
I'd like to add just real
Yes,
quick,
ma'am.
like I was raised by my father as a single father. All I had was male cousins, male friends growing up, and a lot of times, like when I speak about a certain topic, a lot of times I ain't gonna lie, I get called like a pick me or something like that because I seem to come to the defense of men, but it's because I can kind of understand them because of how I grew up. And I will say, I remember, and you mentioned barbershop. That's why I wanted to speak on that. I remember I used to work at my uncle's barbershop to make a little extra money. I come in, sweep up the hair and stuff, and I'd listen to them. And they really did hold them each other accountable. Like, let's say somebody came in like, man, my wife getting on my nerves, and this, and that, and then they'll be like, okay, well, what does your wife do? And then, oh, well, she spent $20 extra. Man, if you don't get out my face and go love that wife, and she make you dinner? Did she do this? Did she give you kids? Man, shut up. Go on, get out my face. So I will say that I've seen more men hold one another accountable than women do.
You can see
And,
examples of
and
that. You can see examples of that just in friend circles. You know, I grew up with two. I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest and the only boy of three. I got two older sisters, and my parents made my sisters take me outside and play and all of that. And I see how girls do this my whole life. You see, say one of their girlfriends have a breakup, and all of her girlfriends will say, "Girl, he tripping, he messed up, he messed up. You a good woman. It's his loss, girl. You know he the one messed up. He ain't no good." Never will they say, "Well, what happened? What happened to where y'all had to split up? You know what did you? Is there anything that maybe you did to contribute to y'all splitting up? That'll never happen. But with men,
never.
it'd be like, oh well, what happened? Oh, me and such split up. But what you do?
Right.
Or she found such and such in my phone. Oh well, you got caught. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
We
You
just
know, it's
well, let's go.
like when I was younger, me and my friends, you know, it would start off with just patting each other on the back. Yeah, man, f that. And it might be one older guy, or we might go talk to the older cat, and he'd listen to us pat each other on the back and say, "Would you really telling this man to do that dumbass that he made the right decision?" And it made most of us think about what we were saying. And as the elder as he says, as we get older, especially when you hit your like 30s, for men you start getting a little bit more holding yourself and your brother accountable, even if you messing up big time. I don't want my homie telling me, yeah man, well I see why you did that. Well man, what do you think you could have did different? And I don't never ask nobody, what did you do? I always ask, what happened? See, that asking, what did you do? That's automatically blaming that person that's saying, hey, this is not going right in my relationship. Oh, well, you must have did something. No, that's not how you handle that. But women do that in a minute. Let a woman tell her friends that the man did something. They'll never say, what did you do? They'll say, what did he do? Let the man say that to that same group of women. They're going to ask him, what did you do? They'll never ask what happened. It just doesn't. I don't know why, but for some reason, the man is automatically the issue. And with guys, we typically don't do that. I don't know about now, but in my age circle, in my age group, we don't ask that. What did you do? We ask what happened. And yes, we BS each other about it. Well, you should have did this, and we laugh. But then, when the real talk comes, it's like, yo, look, all you can do is be accountable. Ask what you can do to make it right. Find out what you can do to make it right with your woman. Go home to your woman, dudes. You don't need to be running out here. You got a woman at home. I'm single.
Right.
Stuff like that.
I mean, not right, but
But you asked a
I
key
can
question.
understand.
What happened, and that opened up the dialogue for him to tell you the scenario, and then you were able to say, okay, well, yeah, you was wrong, bruh.
Right.
Like, you need to tighten up. Or you could say, you know what, you weren't wrong, because you opened up that dialect.
Right.
by asking an open-ended question instead of just saying, well, what did you do?
But that's what I'm saying. Most men do that. Like Tim said, most men say, "What happened?" We don't ask the man, "What did you do?" or "What did she do?" Say, "What happened?"
The biggest, I think, one of the questions I do ask, but now, mind you, it's after I've listened to the person. It's not like, let's say my friend comes and let's say it's Keisha, and she's like, girl, this happened. And my first question isn't going to be, what did you do? I'm going to hear her out. And if I see that there's something off, I'm going to say, okay, well, what part do you think you played in this? Like, is there something that you could have done differently or better to yield a
Right,
better outcome?
right.
But I would
It's a
never just be
learning
like, well, what
process.
did you do wrong?
Yeah,
Because
I
you're
mean,
pretty
once
much going
you,
to shut that person down.
yeah, when you do that, it's just like, what happened, and okay, how do you think you could handle it next time, or should handle it next time?
Mm,
Would you do the same thing again? Well, now hard headed. We joke with each other, but this whole dynamic of how men and women, us men, we really do hold each other accountable.
And like
We really
Paul
do.
said, not only do we hold each other accountable, we'll clown and roast each other for that. Like, oh, she caught you cheating. I thought you was a pimp. What happened?
Right,
like,
right.
I thought you had game. Like, what was going on with that? But see, I lost my chain of thought. And that's why I say that today's modern day feminism is 100%. In my opinion, I see it born this current wave, not feminism as an institution, but this current wave of feminism is more anti-man than it is advocating for the rights of women. I don't see
Yeah.
that.
I mean, because we already got those. We already got
Right.
them.
And there's a young
So
lady in the
what
back
else are
there
we
that I
waiting
talked
for?
to before, and she was, I wish she could have got on today. I guess she had something to do, but I had asked her, what is it in this country that I can do as a man that you can't do simply because I'm a man? And it was crickets. She was no answer because there isn't.
Right. And they immediately go back to way back when. Well, this
Yeah.
ain't way back when no more.
They go back to first wave, second wave, third wave. It's like, well, that's already done. Y'all got that. Y'all asked for it. Y'all fought for it. Y'all clawed for it and scratched for it, and you got it. So now that you got it, though, it kind of leads to that stereotype that men put on women. Women are never satisfied.
It's like dating Superman and then saying there's got to be something better out there.
Right. Because
Because
Superman ain't all of that. Because if some kryptonite come around, he ain't shit anyway. You know what I mean?
Right. He a punk.
I think for what y'all saying, it's a for extreme feminists, right? Oh, I'm sorry, I was sharing. Because we in our last little hour, so I was sharing it.
The home stretch, yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's for the extreme. Yeah, for the extreme feminists, yes, that's who I'm talking to. You're right. Or that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you're right, Keisha.
Like I remember, you know what? Let's. I
sorry.
can't remember.
It's
Old
gonna
girl's
revert back.
name.
I'm sorry. It's going to revert back to feminism wave 1 and wave 2. It's just the playbook, like of an extreme feminist.
Right. A lot of them do that, But like Tim said, you got everything you said you wanted, but you still feel like you don't have enough. What don't you have? Like you said, you ask them, okay, well, what can I do that you can't do? Well, I can't be a firefighter. Yes, you can. I can't join the military. Yes, you can. You know what I mean?
The only one that they hold on to now, is I can't get paid to be a CEO the same pay that a man gets paid to be a CEO.
Well, that's only for women who are trying to be CEOs. If you don't have what it takes to be a CEO, that ain't your argument.
No, but they have them. But that's the thing. That's their whole argument. But the whole thing about that is like those when it comes to our community and Black women, it's like when they say, well, equal pay, it's like, well, white women still make more money than Black women. Why are you not fighting that? because it's a woman and the man has to be the villain. Is that why you
Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of that. I have a really great example of that. When I went to go be a store manager for AutoZone, right? Now imagine AutoZone is a predominantly male operated industry, correct?
Right.
And when I went and I sat down for my interview and everything, they offered me a salary that I was not happy with. I said, no, I'm not doing it for that. And prior to going to that interview, I had
that Storm is picking her internet up?
Then technical.
And not only did I get my requirement, I got $5,000 more than my requirement because I demanded it. So you can get what you want if you just gotta demand what you want. But at the same time, now let's say I wasn't doing the exact same job. Would I expect the exact same pay just because I'm a woman? No. That's like if I work at Dominion Power and the power goes out, do I expect the same pay for sitting at the desk answering the phone that the man gets that climbs up the power poles and fixes the power and puts his life in danger? No, just because we work for the same company doesn't necessarily mean we deserve equal pay. It's based on what you're doing. So yes, if we're doing the same exact jobs, then yes, I should get paid exactly what you get paid. But if we're not doing the same jobs and we just work for the same company, then that's not fair either. Because he's out there climbing up the damn pole, putting his life in danger. And I'm just sitting here answering the phone telling you, oh, your power should be back on in about 2 hours.
Right.
Yeah, I shouldn't get the same pay.
Welcome Janelle to the stage. Janelle, what's going on, brother?
Welcome.
Just watching this Judge Judy, I figured I'd chime in real quick.
Nah, we're talking
welcome,
about like the
brother.
same thing. We're talking about the same thing I was telling you about, about the this fourth wave feminism. And basically what's happened is we've gone through all the first three waves of feminism, how they ask for a certain particular set of rights with each wave. They got said waves, and now that we're in fourth wave, it just seems like it's anti-man and not equality.
Yeah, I hear that. I know we talked a little bit about that earlier.
You can express to your panel your perspective.
Well, let me listen and see where y'all at for a while. Get off of this.
We an hour and 47 minutes in.
I mean, I'm gonna say this, Tim,
brother,
as my
wait a minute, like because the brother wanted like he kind of wanted like a premise, synopsis. So basically, brother, we went through the first wave of feminism, which that was about women having equal rights. The second wave of feminism was based on this book called The Feminist Mystique. I went through what that was about. When basically housewives wasn't happy. They weren't happy, bruh. They wanted to go to work. All right. So the third wave of feminism is more on the sexual harassment side, because by this time ladies done got into the work career. The work field. They in careers now, but they getting groped and stuff. You know what I mean? So they started that. That's third wave. And then fourth wave is Me Too and all them type of movements.
That's third
the
wave.
cancel
Third
culture.
wave. That's still third wave. Me
still
Too.
Third wave?
Yeah, Me Too is the third wave coming to fruition, coming to its. This is what we want. This is what we've been asking for, and they got their justice, quote unquote, for all of those rights that they fought for of workplace of harassment.
Oh, right. The harassment stuff. Yeah, that stuff is extremely high in the workplaces now. Yeah.
Right. So
no tolerance thing.
Right. So now now Me Too has created no tolerance. So they got what they asked for. They asked for the right to be able to go to work and not have to give up some neck to get this position, to not have to bust it open to get a promotion. You know what I'm so they got that now. So this fourth wave feminism, like I said, it's just basically the oppression. It's the oppression. In my opinion, it's more anti-man. It's more we're outperforming men now. We're bosses now. We're this. You know what I'm saying? It's more like, we don't really need a man to do nothing for us, but then at the same time they contradict themselves by saying, I'm a boss, I got my own this, I got that. A man is this, I'm better than a man, I'm a boss and all of this. But if you want to be in a relationship with me, you got to pay all my bills. It's like, wait. It's like, okay, so what is it? Oh, you know what I mean? Because the whole notion and the like, if I pull up the definition again, the definition of feminism is equal treatment amongst the genders. So if you are fighting to be equal, then you shouldn't tell a man that wants to go 50-50 that he's not a real man, because this is your argument is that you want to be treated just like men. You want the responsibilities that men have. So if you're going to ask for something and then you get it, you can't then backpedal and say, oh, well, that's a man's job to do that.
Well, that's what, and me and you talked about this earlier, and that's what tells me none of this shit is really real. You can't have. We talked about that earlier with the whole 50-50 thing. Like, some men want to go 50-50 now, and women argue, why do I have to go 50-50? But men is never saying you pay 100% and let me pay 0. Is let's go 50-50. So I don't believe in. I think the fourth wave of feminism, y'all got two different opinions about it. So it's almost like I really don't even believe in a lot of this shit. I think it's a talking point, and I think it works in the society that we're set up now. But you don't have the fourth wave of feminism. They don't have that going on in certain societies where men and women really depend on each other.
Right.
And I do think it's equal. I mean, I don't think it's equal in terms of 50-50 for paying for a meal, but I 100%. I know there's women out there like that, but I don't come across it too much. And I don't mind paying 100% for a meal. I always do, unless a woman offers. But I don't think I ever actually go 50-50. But I just think that's our role, the way it was set up in this society as of right now. But I still, even if I pay 100% for a meal, I don't feel like I'm carrying the relationship more, because I think a woman may offer something else that I can't offer. So I don't know. That's my kind of views on it. The whole oppression thing. So is that what you're saying? The fourth wave is oppression?
Well, it's because the research I put up in the definition, it says, the fourth wave is difficult to define, because they still trying to figure it out themselves. Because, like I said, the previous 3 waves have come to fruition. Everything they asked for, they have. They asked for the right to vote. They asked for positions of power. When that happened, when that woman that she mentions book came out and all of that, there was an explosion of women being elected to Congress and in public office. Third wave, they talked about the harassment and all of that. Then all of these harassment laws and all of this was put into place, and the whole the Me Too, which was the start, the end. The Me Too is the demarcation of the end of the third and the start of the fourth, with men in positions of power being held accountable for you. Like I was saying, like, if you want this job, you got to bust it open. If you want this position, you got to give me some head, some neck or something. You know what I mean? Like, so.
I think everything probably starts off with good intentions, and then, like everything else, it gets hijacked by other people. And
right.
But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, all of these things have been met, like earlier. Right? Yeah, good job, baby. I actually. Okay.
But like some of them, there probably needed to be a movement. You know what I mean? When a lot of, and it ain't most men, because most men ain't got the power to tell a woman to bust it open on a casting couch. We don't have that power. Most men doing a lot of interviews. 90% of men, they ain't doing nothing but trying to work and provide.
Right. And but that's what I'm saying. They're using those outliers to blanket us as an entire sex.
And
again, earlier we spoke about how the color purple, which happened during second, thirdish wave. how women use that as an example to say, look how men treat us.
Yeah.
See, this is how men, this is a perfect example of how men, not those type of men, but men treat us. And
Right.
before my daughter interrupted me, I was saying that the evidence that for me personally, the proof of the previous 3 waves of feminism being met and coming to fruition and manifesting is if you ask a woman, what is it that I can do as a man in this society that you cannot do simply because you're a woman and I'm a man? And they don't have an answer.
I don't think that's true. I think if you walked out right now and went to an ATM with your wife and someone tried to mug you, I don't think she gonna appreciate it. You try to jump behind her like, baby, you take this one. That's all. I think when it's time, a man play a man. When shit is real, when shit really matters, like right now in society, a woman can't survive without a man to a certain.
But because what you just said was real smooth, but that isn't a tenet of the 3 ways of feminism. That to provide and protect is not one of the tenets. The tenets were, in society, we wanted the same opportunities to be able to have the same type of job, to work where I want to work, to not be to be sexualized in everything that I do. See, that's what I'm saying. When it comes to not be abused by men and be physically domestic violence and all, like all those are the arguments and the tenets that they make. Now when it comes to gender roles, there is a sect of women that are anti-gender role. There are. But then those same women that are anti-gender role that say, I don't need a man to do this, I can go to work and take it. Those are also the same women that their very next breath is you a man, you supposed to pay the bills, you supposed to do that, you a man, you're not a real man if you don't do that. So it's like they contradict themselves.
Hey,
It's like,
hey, Tim, can I offer something, bro, real quick before I lose this thought? Do you think that's women hiding behind the fact that they really would like a man like that, but they might not feel like they can, so they do what's necessary for them, because at the time they might not feel like there's a man out there that's willing to provide all that, right? So she's doing what she wants to do, and when she says, "Aren't you a man? Aren't you supposed to, do that?" I think those women are saying, "I'll do it. I'll give up what I have right now if you're willing to be that man for me." But if they don't give it up, guess what we're dealing with? Misandry.
Right, but that's the thing though, because he and I touched on that earlier too, and I'm bringing it up now.
Yeah, I
Like
would say you were dealing with Miss Andrew.
That well, the thing about that is that conditional behaviors are a thing, yes, but it would be absurd if a man said, "I'll be a real man" to a woman that bring the masculinity out of me.
Right.
It would be absurd for a man, but that's the shit women say. I'll be a submissive feminine woman to a man that can bring it out of me. Like what? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I said, I think when we depend on each other to play each other's parts, then everybody play their parts too. Like we had the analogy, let some real bad shit happen. Let us all get stranded on a desert island or a tropical island. Men gonna play certain roles and women are gonna play certain roles.
Right.
Right.
And
Yeah, the
I don't
example that
think
he gave,
any of us want to see a woman pulling a log off the, to help build a house. You know what I mean?
Right. Like the example that Janelle gave earlier when he and I were talking was if it was The Walking Dead was real. You know what I'm saying? The Walking Dead was real. All of these burly butch women that are out there, the super I am a man too, I identify a man, like all of that'll disappear it'll be sorted out in a few days. like like in a few days, like, all right, you know what? Y'all go out there and fight because y'all the men.
What's that black chick's name?
Michonne, because even that's what we're talking about too. Even Michonne in the end, she ended up getting the man.
The man was stronger than her. You know what I mean?
Stronger than her, right?
But she got a man, and they all do. Even the new Walking Dead, where The man killed the woman's husband. She still, you know what? At the same time, he can help me survive in this new world. He killed
Right.
I
my.
mean, two is better than
No,
one at this situation.
no,
Like
no.
in
What
any
he's saying
situation,
is
two is better than one. Even if
no.
it
But the
was you
example.
and another man, it would have been a better situation for you as a man
Whoa,
in an
whoa, whoa,
apocalyptic
whoa, hold
situation.
up, hold up, hold
Not
up.
saying sexually. I'm not
Oh,
saying
okay, all
sexually.
Okay.
Okay. I'm
The
just
ex-
saying in a partner situation, in an apocalyptic situation, it's always
yeah,
better to have more than yourself.
Right, but the point
Real
he was
ish.
making,
right,
and I
right,
know we're referencing the
right.
TV show, but the point that he's making is that there was a chick who's a man came in and killed her husband, and she hated
Oh wow.
dude for that. She hated dude for that. But as time progressed and people start dying and all of that, she was like, you know what? I know you killed my husband, but you know what? You could be my man now. You know because
Well, yeah, but
Yeah, the circumstances was high. Like the state that the nuances was high, super
yeah,
high.
Yeah,
But we
the
don't
yeah,
live
stakes,
in
yeah.
2024. Are we saying like with the fourth wave feminism, right? It like I think Tim said we got the sexy reds now. We got the Cardi B's now. Even though I'm gonna say, Little Kim came out in a mix of third wave more than fourth wave, but
No,
I'm just that's just
but
gonna
there's
be
a
my argument.
but no,
But
even with that though,
uh, uh,
yeah, even
even
with that. Oh, go ahead. I want you to finish. My bad.
but again, even with that, we have such a liberal sexualism with women now to the fact that it could be almost embarrassing, it could be detrimental, it could be harmful, it has all these other severe nuances that goes on with that unchecked,
right.
uncharted, new nuances of liberation and sexism
Right,
within women.
but even with the examples of the female rappers you mentioned, when Little Kim came out in the '90s, women themselves was like, she a hoe. They had women like, ooh, I like her music and all of that, but she make hoe music, And today with these women, it's like, that's right, girl, do your stuff. You don't have to worry about what men say. Don't worry about you. You look good, girl, with your booty all the way out, with your booty hole brown, girl. That's what I'm. That's do you, girl. That's the
There are
difference.
some pretty booty holes out there, I'm sure.
And all
When
I'm
little Kim,
saying is
when
that's
little
the
Kim, when
evolution
little
of it
Kim,
all.
what I'm saying though, with little Kim, Trina, Foxy Brown, and all of them, women were not aspiring like, oh yeah, I'm trying to be like Trina. I'm trying to be like. They was like, they making
Where do
hood
you think
rap
these
music.
women came from, brother?
yeah.
Where you think they came from?
That-
Who
I can agree with
you
that.
think
That's fair.
Gorilla is imitating? Who you think her idol is? Who you think her flow is? And I'm just speaking as an artist. Who do you think this
Her,
model? That models three
Who
six
did you say?
Mafia.
oh,
Like
okay.
that's they look up to that the Gorilla, Sexy Red, all of them. They looked up to those women. They birthed them.
Yeah.
Mm, mm.
That's
It's the
it's
music.
Like
fair.
Sound
It's
like
you
you
fair.
hear
blaming the
three
music.
six like it's
But
I
see, this
mean,
is the
I ain't
thing though.
blaming
But
the
this no,
music.
but
I'm
hold
just
on.
saying the
But
culture,
with that
you
being
know.
said though, let's because that was deep. So that makes me have to look at it from a bigger, broad perspective. Because back then,
Right.
those three women I named, and there may be one or two more, were only three or four, were a handful of women amongst a broad spectrum of other female rappers that they weren't making that kind of music. So what was so special about I want to bust it open and I used to be scared of the now I put lips to the what was so like, oh, I want to be that. Like Lauren Hill over here talking about you might win some, but you just lost one. She over there saying what was the other
Yeah.
song? Girls, you better watch out because guys are only up. They was like, fuck that. That's
You know what
garbage.
it
I
was?
want the
You know
whole
what it
music.
was?
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna answer your
Right.
question. You know what it was? In music, Biggie said it best. That's what women wanted to hear. Men ain't want to hear that. He was like, men don't want to hear that. Make it sexual. Make it like this. Remember, he made her. So, and the same thing with Trick Daddy. He made Trina. Like the ones before them was made by men.
I agree.
Okay, I can agree with that too.
You
I can
know,
agree with that. Hold
so
on, I can
it's
agree with
what
that
they
too.
started appearing to
Paul,
men. They stopped appearing
Paul,
to
did you
women. Duh, like that was
did
easy.
you go out and buy a Trina album ever in your life, Paul?
Say what?
Did you go and buy a Trina album ever in your life?
The only female artist I remember buying was Sweet Tea and Queen Latifah. Oh, and
Okay,
Lauren, and of course Lauren. But those are the only
and
three
Lauren Hill,
female
right?
artists I ever
So
bought.
that sound
Again,
Janelle. Hold on, Janelle. Have you ever bought a Trina album or something like that ever?
The
Lil
only,
Kim.
only female artist I ever remember buying, Lauren Hill.
So it ain't looking like that's what men want. It ain't looking like it's men making these women go platinum.
That's true.
I didn't say
yeah,
that. That's
I
not
mean,
what I said. What I said was they were made by men. Their
and,
image,
No, and I agree
who
with
they
that.
was made by a man. That I never said they were supposed to.
Right.
Like it was
No,
what
so
I agree. No,
they
I
thought
agree
so
with
men
that.
wanted to hear,
so let me
but it just never
so let me
appealed
ask
to
this.
men. It appealed to
Let,
women.
let me ask the
Do
panel a
y'all get what
question.
happened?
Yeah. I just want to ask the panel a question, not anyone in particular. With that being said, made by men, who was it marketed to, and was it a success?
Was
That's my
marketed to
point.
us and
And that's my
Joliet.
point. That's my point. Even though they were the inventions of men, I'm acknowledging that. You're absolutely correct, Keisha. They are the product and invention of men that molded them to do a certain thing. And he, like you said, he said men don't want to hear that. But even with him saying men don't want to hear that, men were not the ones buying it. Men were not, or were not the ones like, ooh, let me go get the new Little Kim album.
Well, let me
let me,
get the new Trina album, or
yeah,
let me
Y'all
get the
just
new
had her
Right.
Foxy
poster on
Brown
the wall.
albums.
So
Unless they was from they hood. Like I could say dudes from
right.
Brooklyn definitely copped the Foxy Brown album, bro. Like they
All
definitely
right.
did. People
All right.
from Queens definitely copped Lil Kim album. But other than that, y'all, as y'all said on the panel was spoken, y'all never got them. So my thing is it was an unsuccessful situation from the jump because it
Right.
appeared
So
to
let me answer
women.
the question
It
this way.
like
Right. Here's my answer. What I think, it was marketed towards men, but men would find it attractive, but we weren't going to buy it. But we would listen to it. I don't ever remember being in a car with a woman and a little Kim song come on, and I go, "Ooh, turn that off." You know what I mean? Hey, the shit's popping is popping. So it was really marketed towards men, but women gravitated towards all that sexuality. So yeah, it was created by men. So was it successful? Yeah, but it didn't go the way they might have planned it. You're gonna be the hottest thing, the fellas and this, you know what I mean? The guys, no, nobody. I don't think any of them said, yeah, the women are gonna go crazy behind this.
no
I
one
don't know.
thought that. That was not
It
the
was
thought. But I agree. Well, everything Paul said is what I wanted. Let me get on camera. Everything Paul said is what I wanted to say and how I meant to say it in a man's
I
way to
get
say
you. I get you.
it.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I asked the question. When they were marketed, right? Biggie created her, and then they had to make a market for her. Who was the target audience? That's
I
what I
think it
asked.
was women.
We were.
No,
I
her music was about sex. And okay,
it
that's
was
your opinion. I'm sorry. I can't tell you no. I'm sorry. I apologize, brother. I can't tell you no. Go ahead. I'm
well,
sorry. Go ahead.
not really sex sales, but I think the target audience was women.
Yeah, we were. The women were the target.
No, it wasn't. Women don't
It
care
was.
about how you popping Uchi on a headstand. Women
But
don't care how you
Maybe you
sucking you
maybe
beef
you and
cake. We
I
don't care
don't.
about that.
I
but is
gotta
that
Maybe
agree.
maybe
This is
okay,
why I
so
agree.
We don't care
This,
about that.
this is why
maybe
I have
maybe
to
you and
agree.
I don't, and maybe there's another sector of women that feel the same that we do. But majority of the time, yes, those are the ones that buy the album. Talking about, yeah, I got my bag, and I'm doing this, and I'm gonna
Okay. So
run
so
this for
Jessica,
this.
let me ask you a
So
question.
Hang on.
it was
Go
targeted
ahead.
towards
Okay.
women.
I just want to
No,
ask her a question. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Tim. I'm sorry. I'm
because
sorry.
you're gonna ask a question, it's gonna take you somewhere else.
Right. It's your.
So
I
So I
apologize,
just want
brother.
Not a problem, not a problem. I just want to say to build on what Janelle was saying about, who it was marketed to and who it was, how the two ladies are saying, well, we don't care about popping Uchi and all of that. You you just a minute ago said that if you look at the women that are there now and they are the products of the women before them, then clearly they saw it as empowering. Just like
Yeah.
there's a TV show that Janelle was telling me about years ago that his ex-wife used to watch. It's called Sex in the City. And they got one girl in that show that was pretty much like a hoe. And like his wife and her circle of friends was like, oh, I wish I could be like her. She's just so, she just doesn't care. She just lives her life and she's just so free. I wish I could be free. Like it's that
Samantha.
mentality.
No, not
It's that
Samantha.
mentality.
Yeah.
The other,
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever her name is. I never watched the
the
show.
old head one, the
Yeah.
oldest one out of
I
all
think
of,
it's
which people
Sarah
didn't even
Jessica
notice that.
Parker.
Did y'all notice like the whole of that show was the older one, the oldest one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never watched it. I
It was the
wouldn't know.
oldest
I
one.
wouldn't know.
I never seen
And
one
like,
episode, but the reason I
I'm
brought
just
that
saying,
up
I
was to
had to
show
bring that
that.
up.
Yeah, the reason I said that though is like because the same thing that we hear these women say now is that
Empower.
Cardi B and what's her name come out there with that WAP song. It's seen as women empowerment. You just
Yeah.
because you up there
Now,
naked don't mean that you up, but that's the product of it. That's the legacy of Little Kim, Foxy Brown, and all of that.
but
That's how it affected women, as you
if you
just mentioned.
listen to
That's
what
who
me and
who is
Paul, if you listen to what me and Paul are saying, we saying
Hmm.
in the beginning, when thou was created, it was meant.
Say
Way back.
it
When,
again,
Way
baby.
back.
Say it again, baby girl.
when thou
Say it
was
again.
created, it was meant to appear to you. It was not
Right,
meant to appear to us. That's
right,
not what they thought would happen. Now
right.
I'm not debating that. That's exactly what happened to
She
the
just
women.
explaining again what
right.
we are
But no,
saying.
but
I
she's edifying both of our points because that's what because after she said that, I then came with, well, what was it that made women gravitate to that rather than little kid Lauren Hill and
Right,
other women along that side. That was what I was saying.
Because
right.
it
So
wasn't
if
enough
if
of them.
if the plan was
Mm,
this, if the plan was this and to be marketed to men, what was it about the psyche of the women that said, I want to be that? I don't want to be
mm.
Dick, I don't want to be girls, you better watch out because guys just want one thing and respect your body and all of that. I used to be scared of the dick. Now I put lips to the shit. That's who I
You
want
know
to
what?
be.
I could answer this
That was
question.
a
I can
lie.
answer this question. I can answer this question. I could really, really answer this question. At certain time, the dance music, stop being positive and start being negative.
Yeah.
So the Queen Latifah's right, and it's show thing, and the Salt and
Yeah,
Pepper came. I mean, once
right.
that came out, they definitely changed that positive flow into something a little more controversial. They was super fucking into feminism. Every song, every song. So you know, once that came out, kind of flipped the script. You know, all that dance music, all that kid and play ish started turning to the Dina Howards and all the sexy girls. Like they start making the dance music, and that's what appeals to the youth. Getting the hell
There
up,
was only
getting off the wall.
I can't think of a second Adina Howard though. That was
Yeah,
an
she didn't
R&B.
need one,
I can't think
but
of another female singer because with rappers is one thing. I can't think of another female singer that was singing like R. Kelly. I can't,
aside from Medina,
aside
What
from
you mean,
Medina.
like R. Kelly?
Like say his
provocative.
provocative singer.
Oh,
Like
I
most of
mean,
the
there
girls
was a
they was
couple.
singing. They was singing.
There was a couple.
I
It
can
was
only think of
Joe.
Medina. That's
I
a
It
man.
was Joe. She made
That's a man.
lick. That's
It
that's
was
that's
Joe.
Joe. No, she made lick.
Joe.
Uh
Oh,
uh 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 uh.
Rihanna was
Dun,
a
dun,
oh,
dun,
Rihanna. Okay,
dun,
I can say
dun.
Rihanna. That's true.
Rihanna in that time.
Janet.
Okay,
We
what
had
about my neck, my back?
my
That's a
Is that
rap.
back.
a singer or a
That's a rap.
rapper?
That's the
That's a
rap
rap.
Okay,
though.
okay,
But
That's a rap.
they're talking about like R&B music. So I'm
okay.
just saying all the like even rap music at that time, all the dance music start sounding like you know dirty because the South started coming
And,
in.
and I was
Like,
gonna say I blame Uncle Luke for that.
Keisha,
it was
before
over,
I
bro.
forget
Like
this,
the
before
South
I
came
get,
in. Like,
before I forget this, Keisha, I gotta say this to you, brother. Damn it, you motherfuckers made me forget. No, here it is. I got it. I think. Keisha, you were on the money when you said when you were asked what happened to women's mindset. You're on the money. I have to agree with you. There wasn't enough of the other female artists. You had Lauren Hill pushing her album, right? And it did her thing. It did its thing. Lil Kim was making a little steam, but as soon as Lauren that album's time was up, Lil Kim had that her sec was on her second album. So her name was consistent. Lauren wasn't. That I think that's the thing. It
yeah,
wasn't enough positive female what we would consider
artists.
positive artists. It
Yeah.
wasn't enough of them. She's right. I
Conservative
would agree with
artists.
you.
I would say straight
Right.
up conservative artists. It
Right.
wasn't enough female conservative artists at the time. And then, and like I said, when he asked the second question, the music changed. Like everything that you want to dance to got raunchy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want to pull it up. So the 13 female rappers that dominated the 90s. Rockefeller Records, Emil.
She only
So
got one. She ain't even got an
Yeah.
album though.
Oh
She
yeah.
was a feature. She was like a
Yeah,
feature and
that's what I'm
everything.
saying.
hey,
How's she
I'm
number
just
one?
I'm
Feature
just
and
I'm
everything.
just it's not
Okay.
Go
these aren't
ahead.
these
We
aren't
can't
not they
argue with him.
these
We
aren't
can't argue
these
with him.
aren't these aren't these aren't saying number one as if she was the number one dominated. This is just a list of 13 women. So in no particular order, who's first as the best, and this is just 13 women that dominated the 90s. So
Okay.
Emil, The Brat, Foxy Brown, Gangsta Boo, Lady of Rage, Lauren
Yeah,
Hill,
Lady Rage.
Left Eye,
Left
Little
Eye.
Kim, Left Eye, Little Kim, Mia X, MC
Mia
Light,
X off of No Limit. Yeah.
Moni Love, Queen
I don't
Latifah,
remember.
Yo Yo,
Yo
and that's the end
Yo.
of the list. So
What about
with
Queen
this,
Pen?
she wasn't dominating. She
Well, she wasn't
stayed a
dominating, but I
this,
She
remember
did a
her.
feat. Hey,
yeah,
she
she
did a
this,
feature too. Why wasn't she
yeah,
on there?
this particular article, this is their list. This is not based on sales or nothing like that.
And I
Or
would
this
say,
or but of this list of 13, let's count how many were the raunchy ones versus because the argument is there weren't enough of the other ones. So
Okay.
let's count them. Yo Yo, was Yo Yo raunchy?
nah.
No.
Okay. Queen Latifah, was she raunchy?
No.
Nah,
Moni Love, was she raunchy?
Hell,
No.
MC
no,
Light, was she raunchy?
No.
I
nah.
heard a song. No, I heard a song from her that when she was talking about dating a young kid.
I need a roughneck. Gotta have a roughneck.
We talking about
And
the
it was like
90s though?
talking about a 17-year-old boy or something. I didn't even realize the lyrics until I heard it like as an adult. So
Okay.
y'all
You
might
talking
want
about
to check that out.
from her first album?
When she was a teenager.
No, she
I
was
know you're
no,
not
she
talking about
wasn't
her
a
first
teenager
album.
then. But anyway,
Okay, Mia X, was she raunchy?
I don't
Kinda.
remember.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
didn't listen to. I don't know who she
Yeah,
is.
kinda.
Is Neo up? That's his neck of the woods. Oh, he walked it. He fell out the chair asleep. What happened?
I don't know.
Yeah.
He fell out the camera.
Okay.
He fell out the camera, so he's not there.
Oh, okay.
But Mia
All right.
X
So
wasn't. She wasn't. It was like
was she my pussy?
I don't remember. I don't.
no.
What's the song?
No.
I don't even
She
remember
was
It
the
more
wasn't.
on
song.
some gangster rap shit.
It
Like
was gangster. So that's not
she was a
raunchy.
gangster
Okay.
rapper.
Little Kim.
But why is
Kim
that
was
not
gangster
raunchy?
Lil
because
Kim was raunchy.
You're
Little Kim
talking
was
sexual.
talking
Okay,
sexual,
we
right?
talking
Yeah,
sexual.
Lil Kim was raunchy.
Right.
What
So
you
Lil Kim was raunchy.
so far the first one is Little Kim. Number 2, Left
Yeah.
Eye. Was Left Eye sexually graphic?
Yes.
She
no?
was sexual. She was
Look,
That
she was
bitch
more
had
on
a
the sexual
condom on
side.
her eye.
I think she was
Nigga.
subtle with her
Okay,
sexuality.
so we're gonna
But
give
no,
Yeah.
him that.
I wouldn't call her raunchy. Though.
No, so
Yeah,
It
but
was
she was
raunchy
sexual.
for his time.
okay, so we're
No,
gonna put her
no,
on
Yes.
there.
but she was sexual.
We're gonna put
She
her
was
on there.
sexual.
Just okay, she was sexual. So that's 2. Lauren Hill,
No,
Nah.
Oh, wait, that's a toss up.
Lady of Rage,
He said,
I don't
"Oh,
know.
yeah,
No,
that's a toss up."
no.
No.
No,
Gangsta
because
Boo.
she was gay.
Nah, she was
Gangsta,
Gangsta
gangster.
who?
Gangsta
Gangster
Boo.
Yeah, she
Boo.
was.
She was
I don't
gangster.
know who that is.
Yeah,
Three
I don't
Six
know who that
Mafia.
is.
3 6 Mafia. 3 6 Mafia.
Yeah, she
I don't
was
know.
gangster.
Still don't know.
You
Okay.
say 3 6 Mafia? I ain't pitting it past it because they did the slap
well,
on my
Tim,
knob joint, so I'm not pitting it past it.
So
You never
yeah,
know.
that was them being, but so you never. For the sake of
You
our
can't put that.
understanding, we're gonna say we're gonna put her on the standby over here. I'm gonna put her over there. Foxy
Right,
Brown, we can
right.
definitely say Foxy Brown is
yeah,
right. So that's 3.
Yeah.
The Brat.
no,
No,
Okay.
no.
Eventually, yes. Eventually, because she would
I
have you
think,
like dum,
No,
dum,
we
dum,
wait,
dum,
wait,
but
dum,
the topic is
yeah.
the topic is of the 90s because the argument you made is that who do the women of today look up to? Or these are
Right,
the
and that would
right?
right.
But my
Yeah,
argument wouldn't be in the 90s. They would have been in 2000s because they wouldn't have been born till the
yeah,
90s. They would have
I
been
agree.
born in the
right.
90s.
I
Like
wasn't
so
born
that
in
would have been in
I wasn't born
2000s.
I wasn't born in 1971, but I love the Isley Brothers.
But
They
I
greatly influenced me.
raised in the 90s.
Bro, though
So that
we
so
had the
so
internet, and that's different. The way you
Tell
like,
him again.
and, and the last
We
one.
didn't have
bro,
internet back then,
no,
Okay,
Tim. Come
like
on, man.
no,
okay, but no.
no.
Okay, so in the
So
last but
this
not
this is an
hang on,
unfair situation
hang
already.
on, hang on. Last but not
I
least,
got
Emil.
your back, Mama. I
Last,
got your back.
last but not least, Emil. So Emil would be yes, she was kind of raunchy.
Yes,
She was talking right. So that's 4. And if we count the toss up gangster boo, that's 5. So 5 out of 13. But there wasn't enough.
I don't think, and I don't think most of them was,
not in the
but I think,
2000s. No,
but I think it's what you said, Tim. I think women got something else out of it that maybe men didn't get. I think it was more empowered.
Right,
You know,
right.
I don't think women was
There we go with that though.
looking up to be lady of rage or to be, you know what I mean, more gangster, more like a man.
Right.
He's
by
a
the
little bit more.
time 98, 2001 or 2, there was no Lady of Rage. There was no MC Light for real. Like
All right. So I pulled up the double O's because I Keisha got to roll with her generation. So I don't even
yeah,
I
I go
don't
with my.
even I don't even know who Kid's sister is.
Who?
Kid's sister.
No idea.
Oh,
Me neither.
Right.
Like, what is that?
Right. Little Mama.
Who?
then she
Little
has
My
that.
Mama.
lip gloss is popping. My lip gloss is cool.
Oh, okay.
And that's a
Chicken
bubble
noodle
gum.
soup. Chicken
Yeah,
noodle soup.
Noodle soup, chicken
That
noodle
chicken
soup with
that's
the
not
soda
that's
on the
not
side.
chicken noodle
But
soup is not Little Mama though,
it's not.
uh
But that's a whole
okay.
nother joint. But that was my shit.
Remy Ma of the 2000s before she went to jail.
I
She's
haven't
on
listened to her music, so I couldn't tell you.
yeah, I could.
I haven't listened to it since,
Yeah,
so I
because
don't
she
know.
make the cities and
But
I
I
look
don't think.
too good for this necklace, and I look
before she
too
went to
good to be
before she went
sucking.
to
You
jail.
know, I.
Before
She
she
was
went to jail.
more
That's
Okay.
before she
Oh,
went to
Okay, who's
jail.
next? Who's
Okay.
next?
That was before
Charlie,
she went to jail.
the next one on the list, Charlie Baltimore.
Yes,
I don't like Charlie Baltimore, but
that was
yes.
Yeah,
she from
And I'm
Philly.
not
She's a
saying it
light
because
skinned
I
high
don't like
yellow
him.
joint.
yeah. No,
She was in a lot of Ja Rule stuff. Like yes,
okay.
I
So
got
yeah,
yes.
no.
Keep going.
could be raunchy. So Charlie Baltimore,
Yes,
Trina, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely,
Nicki Minaj, absolutely.
yeah.
absolutely.
Eve,
No.
I wouldn't say
No,
Eve.
say
I wouldn't say raunchy sexual, but did she have some sex appeal and that type of music? Yes, but it wasn't like
Like
it wasn't
raunchy.
overtly sexy. It wasn't
Yeah.
overtly, yeah, it wasn't overly sexy.
no,
nah, she
I
because
had.
she
mean,
was. It was still
it,
gangster rap for her
it
at that
wasn't
time.
overtly promiscuous. Let me say
Yeah.
that.
Missy Elliott when she was big.
Oh hell no.
No.
Missy
Oh no,
was
no,
a
No,
trip,
no, wait,
man.
no. Pause.
Missy was
Yes,
a
no.
trip.
yes,
Missy
yes,
used to she
yes.
Yeah,
used to
All
say
day, all
something
day.
she
once
Because
was
people
something
don't be
else.
listening to the
did
shit she
it
be
split.
saying. She's
Yeah.
slick with her sexual shit. Yes, all
Mm-hmm.
time. And she be slipping that shit in there too.
All right, so
Yes.
we'll give her
I'm
a number.
glad you
She made
said that
not
because
a
that's
minute
why I
man.
say she's
She made
something.
minute
Yeah,
man,
that's why I
bro.
say she's something else.
Yeah.
She said,
So,
I don't
She
want, I don't need no
so,
minute
but
man.
she
I
just
don't
so,
don't
want
say
that
it
shit.
out loud.
so
She
hold on.
just
Yes,
she
she
say
So hold
it
on.
did.
so
Hold
She
on.
smooth.
did. She
Wait.
did.
Okay,
Tell
so
I wouldn't
me
put her.
what you want. I don't
so
want no one minute.
with those four women, I'm
Mhm.
gonna add the other women to the list that I left off, and I left them off because they were also on the last list. So Little Kim, that makes 5.
Mm-hmm.
We said no to the Brat. Foxy
Mm-hmm.
Brown, that makes 6. Who else did I leave off? So
You had
6.
6.
So we
You
had
had 6.
Charlie Baltimore. We already said
And
Charlie
Charlie Baltimore made 7.
Right. So out of this list of 13 is 6. Oh, 7 if we count Lisa Lopez. So 7. So that's 2 more than the list before. So there's an increase of 2 out of 13.
Oh no, wait, Queen Latifah wasn't popping in the 2000s. Neither
I
was
didn't
So
say
MC
you
women.
talking
Light.
about the
Neither was Lady
2012?
Rage.
That's what I said. Those women weren't on the list. The women I left off of this that I didn't say when I read
Yeah.
off the names first. I didn't say those names because they were already on the list before. So at the end, I added the women that were from the other list, which were Little Kim, Trina, and Foxy
Okay,
Brown.
so from the list you just did, how many did you come up with that were raunchy as opposed to on the positive with that second list,
7.
so to speak? So there was
Who was the
more of
positive
the,
on the second
wi-
list?
so
There
to
was more,
speak,
loosely speaking, yeah.
yeah. So what's the percentage on that second list you did?
We just did it. It was 7. The first
Child,
list was 5, and the second one
don't
was
pull up 2020.
Out of 13, right?
right.
How you
Well, let me
comparing the
see.
Okay,
old
so
list to the
Let me
new
see.
list? Because they
no,
wasn't
No,
popping.
I see what he's saying. You got 2 more on the second list. He's saying that I guess the second list you still have more positive people, but or so to speak, positive music, but you had 2 more provocative people, so to speak, loosely speaking, right? Did I get it right, Tim?
yeah, 7,
Uh,
8,
I don't.
No, you
9,
had 5 more. It was no, it
10,
was only 2
No, there's
on
two
the
more.
first list, and on the
11.
second list, you got all the other people. You didn't gain a bunch of people on
This
the
only
first
had
list than you
12.
did on the
So
second list.
the first list had 13, and this list had
And it was
12.
5.
There
Right.
was 5. So the first list was 13. The second list was 12. On the list of 13, the first list, there was 5. On the list of 12, there was
It was
7.
7.
And so then you minus 1, so that
So
makes the
that's over half.
go up. Right. It's
Yeah,
over
so
half.
it's over half.
Right.
Over half. By the time the 2000s, over half of the female rappers were
Was
super
raunchy.
raunchy. And I'm going to say, and I'm going to add, all the dance music was super raunchy. Dance hall started coming out. Y'all know dance hall is raunchy. Beanie
Yeah,
Man
yeah.
started coming out. Sean Paul started coming. Like all the Rasta music started coming out.
Keisha, let me help you out. When I was in the club, what started coming out? Let me see that to the road, to the road, to the road. You know what I mean? And guess who would
Yeah,
flock to the floor? Guess
The
who
women.
flocked to the floor?
The
Women.
women.
And men follow. I ain't gonna lie, because men follow. Wherever the women go, that's where the men go.
that's
Shit,
this
she in the dance floor, I'm going.
the music changed and through in a matter of 10 years from the 90s to the 2000s. Music changed.
Right.
Even though Two Live Crew came out in the 90s, bro, they might have set some shit
Right.
off, but
We,
that
we
shit didn't blow to 10 years later.
right. And
Well,
to tie it back to the topic, is that was that seen as empowerment, and how did that? Well, we didn't went all over the place.
oh, that's a
No, we
whole other
didn't. No,
show
we
right
didn't.
there.
Yeah,
No, we
that's a
didn't. No,
whole
we didn't.
that's
We
a whole
still
other
stuck
So
show.
in the
part two,
feminism.
The
make
We
it
whole
went
part
to the
two.
music for feminism. Like when women started listening to the music, it started getting in the media because we started talking about the third. I'm sorry, the second. This is the second wave. The
That's
second
fourth
wave
wave.
or the third
Fourth wave.
wave.
That would be
Hold on, wait,
fourth
hold on,
wave.
wait.
But the
All
thing
right, it's
about
the
it is,
second wave.
though,
No.
the thing about it is,
Let me do it.
Well,
Let me do it. The second wave of feminism. Ferdinand, the chick that wrote the Mysterious,
Mystique,
Mystique, the
feminine Mystique.
feminist Mystique, the feminist Mystique. She started talking about the magazines and what's going on in the media, right? That was her
Hmm.
whole premise of
right, of them
What was
of
feminine? What was
magazines exploiting women, over sexualizing them, blah 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 blah.
blah
Now
blah
fast
blah
forward.
bullshit,
Now hold on.
it's more
Wait, 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 wait,
bullish.
wait, 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 wait.
Go ahead.
Fast forward to today, because her argument was, look at how these men are exploiting us and sexualizing us and seeing us as a piece of meat. Fast forward to today, we're gonna exploit ourselves and sexualize ourselves, and we're gonna show our own brown booty holes. And it's a good thing now because we're doing it and the men are not doing it. It's a contradiction.
I'd like
It's
to
a
add real
control
quick
thing,
before I
though. It's a
forget.
control thing. Because
Before I
before
forget,
you
I'd like to
go
add
ahead, go ahead.
that remember, like back in the days, back in the days there was also a lot of censorship. So a lot of the music that was being made, like if it wasn't mainstream and if there was cussing and stuff, like you wouldn't hear that on the radio, right? Honestly, nowadays it's more open for it to be played in the media and on social media, on the radio. I remember me personally, I'm 46, so I remember growing up, like there were some songs that I knew had curse words in it, but when it was played on the radio, you didn't hear those curse words. They had to make a whole nother song. And nowadays, like they can get up there talking about I got my booty hole is brown and my coochie hole pink and I got a STD and I free my baby daddy. Like they just allow
The radio
everything.
version is not like that. The radio version is my kitty hole this, and they it's the same thing that uh, Cardi B had to do with her music. They complain about that too because they make little reels about it where they're like, "Yo, I gotta find words that rhyme with the vulgar words that I use." And can you imagine blah 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 saying blah 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 or XYZ when I really said pop that, blah blah blah. So they do have to water it down, but what is right and what is very correct what you're saying is the things before you get to the cootie cat and the beefcake is so it's so literal. It's not up to the imagination. So even if you bleeping out the N word, the F word, the B word, they done said so much
You
other
you
stuff.
can say
Like
you can say you
like
the censorship today is that bitch and shit are no longer cuss words.
Nope.
oh, but you can say
Sure
the
enough.
N word all day. You can't say kitty. You
No,
can't say pussy.
not on TV, not on
You
TV.
can't
On
say you
TV,
can't
on
say
regular
dick. You
TV, you
can't
can
you can't
say
say
bitch
that on
and shit.
radio. But on radio, you cannot pronounce the street jargons of your body parts. You
No, they took
cannot
that away.
say they never put it back. Like I don't know what y'all
No,
listen. Most
no,
people
because
don't listen to the
we
radio.
had we had from the windows to the walls to all skeet 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 skeet, and that was on the radio. That was on the radio.
Hmm.
Yeah, but again, do you understand? Like I said, you're just making my point. Everything in between the cuss words and the vulgar body part language is so vivid. It's so literal that you could say from the windows to the walls to all skeet, 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 skeet.
Yeah, that's
You're not
vulgar.
saying to all come drip down the walls, like, because that's what it say on the album. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Hey,
Like,
yo, I
like
gotta tell it. I gotta say this. Y'all know I've told it. I said it before, but every time y'all that song come up, I think about the first time I heard the dirty version, because all I ever heard was the radio version. And my middle daughter, she came in the house singing, "Little sweat drip down my balls." What the fuck did you just say?
right.
You know,
Like
I had never heard the dirty word before. I never heard it. You know.
it was it's still that to this day, but like I said, the difference is that these rappers today have so much it's so much vulgar
Vulgarity.
words said in
Vulgarity.
between
Yeah.
the bullshit, like the real things that they bleep out that you don't got the
We
picture already. They ain't even need to say
we
all
had
that.
we had 2 hours and 34. So let's get ready to wrap it
Oh,
up
that's
because
way fast.
yeah.
All
So
right, well, yeah.
in my closing remarks, I still stand on exactly where I came in from in the beginning. That what feminism was in the past and what they fought for and all of that is not what this new generation of women are advocating for. Not at all. That's just where I stand with it.
And I'll just say that I second exactly what you just said.
And I will third it with an add on of that is what I thought. I never could put it in words, but thank you, Tim.
Janelle, I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm still on the fence a little bit of is it I guess it is fourth wave of, I guess that's like all the outliers, because it seems like every movement gets hijacked by other people. And then we didn't got to a fourth wave of feminism where they wasn't
Right.
having first, second, or third. These is probably the mainstream, that's left.
These are the ones that say a mommy
Right.
and me pole dancing class is okay because it's
Right.
empowering little girls.
No
Yeah.
one said
Right.
that. No one said that. No
Oh,
one
yes,
said
they
that. No, we
are.
ain't
Yes,
say
they
that.
are.
I
They
I
saying
just
that.
said
I've been on IG. I've been seeing it.
I feel a way about that. You just
That was
another
that
way
was
to
a,
say that.
that was a
Like
topic we
you
had
don't
in the
gotta
back
say
chat.
that.
That was a
It's
topic in the back chat, Janelle. All the men were like, a mommy and me pole dancing class where they putting 3 and 4-year-old girls on a stripper pole is cool.
I think that's crazy. But
It's crazy. It's
It was
bananas.
a
Hell
mommy and
no.
me class though. It was a mommy and me class though. I said
that's
this is
crazy.
my stance. This is my stance. I'm gonna check my little collar on this. My stance was this: the advertisement of this class was in poor taste. That's just from jump. It was just in poor taste because this class is super fucking. It should be private. You know what I'm saying? The things that you got to do
So
in
we
this
don't
class,
want you should show nobody to fuck shit. That's crazy.
you
Right.
shouldn't show.
Right.
It's just
Don't
like
show
it's
the
just
fuck
like
shit.
no. Give me don't look. Hear me out. Before y'all start judging. It's no different than the majorette classes. You get what I'm saying? With the little
Very
peewees, the
different.
little
Very
babies and
different.
shit. It's
I
not
disagree
different.
with
It
you.
could become
Thing is,
sexual. It's not different. It could become sexual. They twerking. They moving their body sexually, bro.
pole
That
It's
shit.
no.
only
Don't
sexual.
don't
Y'all
don't
gonna
don't
have
make me
another
pull
hour
up.
show. Y'all
Don't make
gonna
me
have
pull
another
up
extra
dancing
hour.
dolls. I could pull up one show that went public. That it's all over. It's national. It's international. Dancing
And,
dolls.
and
The
and I would have a
peewees.
problem with that.
Right. But
But
the
I
that's
thing
would
what
have a
I'm
about it
problem with
is,
saying,
that.
bro.
hang on.
Bro, let me finish. It's my turn.
Go ahead.
Y'all
Go ahead.
interrupting me.
Go ahead.
So what I'm saying is, I always had a problem on how it's advertised and that it is monetized in a way that they're showing the public the way that they're showing it. There's a way that you could advertise this class without showing little girls busting it open and shit. You know what I mean? Like, even though that's the dance in majorette, they doing splits, they doing a little this and that. Like they moving, they moving. I just think that in these fields, in their competitions, that's they don't even broadcast it that way. They're not on Lifetime. They're not on these cable networks. They don't do that. So I'm just saying it's the way that it's being put out there that makes it look that way. And I rest my case. I land my plane.
Okay. So I was hoping Brother Mugabe would have got on the call today, Moody Wa, because I'm a repeat what his point was. That would be like, because that the all the comments under that from those women were saying, this is really exercise and this, that, and the other, right? He said, okay, this what Mugabe said. Mugabe was like, that would be like me saying, you know what? I'm about to start a daddy and son cooking crack classes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not bad. We teaching them chemistry. This is yeah, we teaching them chemistry. we teaching them chemistry. This is really like this is a learning a life lesson. You know, they learning measurements and all kind of shit. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's ridiculous. But no, you know what? We can do it as long as we do the advertisements just right. We're not gonna advertise it like we selling dope. We're gonna advertise it like we teaching chemistry and business practices, how to be an entrepreneur. You see what I'm saying? It's the same exact thing. It's the same thing.
I didn't know they had that mommy and me pole dance classes.
No,
Well,
that's
let me
not the
say this though.
same. I don't get how y'all keep saying that's the same. That's not the same. One is legal, one isn't. So there's that.
Okay, here's my issue.
The premise
One is
behind
almost
it.
an Olympic sport. One would never be. Like,
Right.
Everybody
Listen. Let me say this on that real quick.
Sis, you're not gonna win this one.
No, I just want to say this real quick. Real quick. I promise.
trying. I'm just saying.
Trying to say that equating pole dancing to majorette in gymnastics is a lose situation. Number one, with majorettes there are some athletic abilities needed. Outside of now, do they shake their ass? Yes, but that's briefly, and then they move on, start stretching their legs, doing splits, they're dancing. They have the wind for it. On a pole, you're swinging around a pole, throwing your legs up, sliding down a pole. Okay, you can hold on to something. Look at how my legs spread to ride down this pole.
No, it absolutely does take athleticism to be a pole dancer. It absolutely
get
does
that,
take.
But they spread their legs open and majorette. They do the little things like with their legs and shit. And you know what I mean? They be busting it open all the time. I don't get what you talking about. I'm gonna stop. Shut up.
The first thing you think of when you think of pole dancing, stripping. All this other stuff we can say no is this. No, the first thing that every night, if you ask, if we go on Family Feud and they do the 99 out of 100 or whatever, it's stripping. That's the first thing you think of a pole dance.
All right. Here's another point. If it's just a sport, would you allow your young child to do that in a club? But you have to let everyone know this is just a sport. This is not for enticing. What do you think would happen in that situation? Either motherfuckers ain't gonna go in there. Either motherfuckers ain't gonna go in there, or you gonna have a bunch of perverts ready to watch.
Why she got to be in a club though when it's almost not even almost?
But it's a sport.
2024. It's an Olympic sport now. She could go
right,
to
and now
gymnastics and fucking do pole dancing.
What I'm saying is, if it's a sport, and it's not
we just started a whole nother topic. Come on now.
But it doesn't.
No, this is I don't understand how y'all don't understand. This is the same topic. It's one person thinking. I'm not saying that I will put my daughter. I would do mommy and daughter pole dancing class. That seems weird to me. I'm just being honest. That seems weird. It's just weird. Why would I want to bring her to my class? You don't got no babysitter. That's what that type of class is. So I'm just be honest.
That was another move.
I'm gonna just be honest. That's my honest opinion. But the argument that is being spoken, that is being argued, is debatable. I'm going to debate that because, bro, she could go to the gymnasium and climb. She could go to the playground and climb a pole. It's one in every playground.
Right.
She ain't gonna be doing that at the playground.
Hold on, because
she's gonna be doing it now.
I'm still want us to close because we coming up on 3 hours now.
Yeah.
So with that being said, because what Keisha is saying is true, but as Janelle said before, it's the connotation of what comes with it. If we were somewhere at a backyard barbecue and somebody was like, "Oh, you heard what's your such and such daughter is doing?" Like, "Oh, what's she doing?" "Oh, she does pole dancing." Like, "Oh man, she just found a pole." She just found a pole. That's the first thing that's what it's associated with. And the point of me bringing that up is that this new current fourth wave feminism sees that as something as empowering to young girls. Like, and that's just not. It would be like. It would be because of the connotation that's attached to it. It's like uh like I was saying, the WAP song and all of that, they saw that as being empowering, like okay, yes, every men and women are sexual beings, absolutely. That's a human condition, absolutely. But does that make it empowering for girls to get up there and bust it open? If men came out and said, what is it? Beat and had a song called Bad, Big Ass Dick. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And they got a video and they on there, pop, 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 they slapping it against their stomach. Pop, 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 pop. Like will women tell their sons, oh, do the bad dance. Like
I
go
don't think
show
no
me how to do
female
that
complain.
bad
I
dance.
think women would share
Like
that joint. It would go
no,
in
no,
rotation. We're
no,
gonna be like,
that's
look
not
at
what I'm
that.
saying. What I'm saying is
I'm
that
just fucking. I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking.
no, no, listen closely, because you're right. Women would enjoy a video with men that they find attractive with a song called Bad, Big Ass Dick, and they doing the weenie slap, making their weenie slap up on their stomach, pop, pop, pop. But would these women be like, tell their sons, this is empowering for men. Show me how to do the bad dance, the BAD, do the weenie
Boy, if you
slap.
don't sit your skinny ass down and get out
Do
my
the Winnie,
goddamn way.
right? Do the Winnie slap. Would they gonna tell their sons do the Winnie slap? But you see girls teaching their little baby girls to twerk.
Right. She ain't gonna tell her son do that. She gonna say, sit your little nasty ass down.
Right.
Shaking your imagination.
I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go tit for tat
That's
with
what your
y'all.
mama told you,
I'm
Paul.
not gonna go. I promise. In the last 10 seconds of this live, I'm not gonna go tit for tat with y'all and the guys that take pictures with their sons with guns on their birthdays. I'm gonna just chill. I ain't gonna do it.
Ooh,
That sound like a patriot to me. That sound like a
break that
patriot to
down.
me. That sound like a
Break that
patriot. That
down.
sound like a patriot.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
you
chill. I'm gonna be quiet. Like I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna just chill. I'm gonna let the line
that sound like
ride
a
because we
patriot.
trying to get out of
You know
here.
what? Get her Jess, because Jess do that. She take pictures with her sons and guns. So go ahead, let the woman
Damn
get it.
right.
You know what I mean? Like
Damn right.
that's what guys like. I'm gonna just chill. I'm gonna just shut up.
I would sit back and let the woman.
Because
But no,
because
but I
when a
want to
man does
appreciate
it, it's a
everybody that.
problem. But if somebody like Jess do it with a bunny in her hand, it's an issue. It's no issue. But when
She
a dude
killed.
with the chains do it and he get his son a little blicky, I'm just
She shouldn't be killing Bugs Bunny. Okay, Bugs Bunny
yo,
ain't
she
never
be
did nothing to
killing
nobody.
Bugs Bunny, squirrels,
Bambi. She killed Bambi and
Bambi
everything.
killed
Yeah,
Bambi's
she's
mama.
yeah.
It
She's a
was Jess
nuisance.
in the movie. It was Jess in the Bambi that killed the. It was Jess that killed Bambi mama in the movie. Oh
Damn
damn!
right.
It
yes,
wasn't that fire.
Good as hell.
It
matter of fact, it
wasn't a
wasn't even
fire.
Jess. It wasn't even Jess.
Jess
It was
did
her
it.
kid.
But
It
It
was
was
her
my
son.
Oh,
One
what?
of her sons in
Oh,
real
she
life.
taught her son to
So
kill Bambi's mom.
When a
See, this is
kid,
why
you
black
like
men
come on,
insensitive
y'all.
now.
Come on, y'all.
don't think it's the
Let's get through
mama
these
or the
closing
daddy. It's
remarks.
the kids.
Let's
was
get
the
through these
Yeah,
kids.
closing
mommy's
remarks.
insensitive.
Let's get through these closing remarks, y'all.
All right,
All right.
I'm gonna show.
So go ahead. Who anybody else got something to say? If not, we can just we can do our salutations right now.
Yes, 10:43. I gotta go to bed.
All right, all right. So I want to appreciate everybody that came on. Paul that was Neo that dropped off. I want to appreciate thank John, Paul, Miss Fields, Trey Ferg, Freddie, Neo Love. And if I forgot somebody, I apologize. But thank everybody that tuned in on YouTube. Make sure you go to the new YouTube page and make sure you subscribe to the new channel. More conversations with the average black man. You know it's the new page when you see both of our faces at the top of the screen. Make sure you like and subscribe. And until next week, we're gonna be coming back. We're gonna I think show 2 is gonna be about the one. Let me see. Yep, show number 2. The one law that goes against civil rights, abortion. It is the one discriminatory law that's on the book, because no law is supposed to benefit only one group of people. When people think about civil rights, they be like, "Oh, civil rights was for black people." No, civil rights is an anti-discrimination bill. You can't discriminate against race, sex, uh, religion and so on and so forth. It's not a bill that says black people got rights, but
Right.
abortion is a law that says women can do this and men have absolutely no say so in it. So that's going to be next week, or if we take a bye week, the week after that. So I just want to appreciate everybody for coming through. Morphine.
We just want to give a thanks to all our groups that support us. We want to give a thanks to the groups that is in the back checks. I want to give a special shout out to the bar method that came through and show some love. I want to give a shout out to all the people that's on the panelists. Take Lit came through and showed us some love. Smarty Corner came out and showed us some love. So we give a shout out to all of you guys. We also give shout outs again to a lot of groups that support us. Soul Flow Conversations, Spookism, that's Mr. Neil's Love, the Love Doctor group. We also give thanks to More Contentious Media, that's my group, and my co-host, my wonderful co-host, and I'm his co-host because we co-host each other in this show. So the Average Black Man Show. We thank all the groups in the back chats and the Facebook front groups for joining along, watching us, and giving us love. Thank you. Oh, and one more. All the Kevin Samuels groups, because y'all came through and showed us love as well.
And we got to give it up to the haters too, because without the haters, you ain't nobody. You don't got no haters.
Without the haters.
Yeah, if you ain't got no haters, you ain't doing something right.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and bust the outro, sis.
Bye, y'all. You ain't gonna say
Y'all
bye?
have a good night.
You ain't gonna say good night?
Hi, y'all.
All right. Okay, good night. Because I figured they was gonna hang in the backstage for a hot second, like always.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying to the,
all right.
to the
Thank you
crowd.
to the audience.
Like to the audience. You ain't gonna say bye to the
Hey,
audience?
let me talk to y'all two right quick. Let me talk to y'all two right quick. Just for a minute.